Obviously, it is a great day. I hope that it's not my last day on Earth or your last day or anybody else's, because can I just very quickly explain to you what happened to me when I left the station yesterday?
I'm already nervous, but yeah.
I'm sure you could probably guess where I'm going with this. You know that one of my preoccupations is climate, right? And that stuff is unpredictable, shall we say. Leave the station yesterday, and it's cold and windy. Very windy. But sunny. Nice, right? The sun was out, and, wind is blowing pretty good. But anyway, I'm driving home south on 110, and I get to about the Coliseum, and it gets very dark and gray, like within 20 seconds. Like somebody had turned the dimmer down on the sun. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's odd, but whatever, cloud cover. Keep going home. Get to about Long Beach, hail. Like to the point where I think it's going to break my windshield. It's just hailing. And you know how long it lasted? Maybe 10 seconds.
Have you experienced that before?
Not here.
Yeah.
In Texas, yes. Yeah. When I lived in Houston, yes. I'm talking big pieces, Al, to the point where I'm like, this is kind of dangerous, it feels like. Big chunks. Drive another 30 seconds. Sunny. It's fine. No wind.
Did you go back in the hail just to kind of experience it?
Finish my drive at home. I live in Orange County. Pull into my driveway. It's a little gray. Looks like it's about to start to rain. Whatever. Kind of normal rainy weather. Hail again for about, I don't know. This time it was like a full minute. Okay? I have a video on my phone to show you of the hail accumulating in my backyard. Hand to God, 10 minutes later, sunny. It was like it was July 4th. It was sunny and perfect and not a breeze. Everything's fine. There's nothing.
Like a cool ride home.
Nothing to worry about here. Everything's fine.
I'm sure it made the trip a lot better. Okay, can I say this?
We're doomed, right?
I think if I'm correct here, my girl told me yesterday her brother is a teacher out in Santa Ana.
Okay.
And it started snowing in Santa Ana. This is a real story. And they let the kids all just go outside and basically play in the flakes of snow that are coming.
Because the children live in Santa Ana and it's snowing. That's right.
You're supposed to have heat days.
It looked like when we were driving.
Snow days.
When you would drive through the mountain, like if you're facing the mountains, when I was driving around yesterday, it looked like I was in Colorado. It looks like I was in Denver.
It looks beautiful, by the way.
It's ridiculous.
Yes. It's super pretty, but we're doomed. I just wanted to say I've enjoyed working with all of you. You're all very nice people. I hope that if there is an afterlife, I get to spend it with some of you along the way.
Just some hail.
If it were just hail, Taylor, fine. We had like 86 different weather patterns in one. Not here, we don't. Like, I need you to subtract your Iowa from this, where you get weird weather in Iowa.
Come at him, Taylor.
Where you get snow and you get hail and you get tornadoes and you get all this stuff. L.A., we're supposed to get fires, mudslides, earthquakes. Like, these are the things we've signed up for. Not this.
So
this is insane.
I find this very interesting because there's the, for those who study
you were
the Bible.
basically in the Truman Show yesterday. They just have.
For people who know about the Old Testament, there is a part where there's 10 plagues that are on Egypt. One of them includes hail.
Yes.
There's locusts, darkness. You experience some darkness. Maybe we should just, frogs, lice,
I did not
flies.
see the Four Horsemen. They did not,
did
not
keep
show
an eye
up.
Out. Yeah.
You know what I think this means? You and I are going to Mass on Sunday.
No. I'm fine. If this is the end, I'm okay with it. It's fine. It's all good. Anyway, how are you today?
I love how that's in the background.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. You said it was crazy windy yesterday, too. So show ended, and I was going to go to the gym for a quick second, and I start leaving, and our lights here, the lights at this stoplight, right in front of the Ritz, the Marriott, it was so windy that the street lights are done. So, but here's the kind of
done,
the weird
like
thing.
Not working?
They're in that they're flash.
Flashing. Okay.
But it's only flashing for those that are going to go in and out of that parking garage.
Okay.
It's not flashing this way. Very confusing moment. Didn't seem very safe. I'm like, guys, I don't know if you guys want to do it that way. Don't have it go this way and then have us go that way and it's all flashing. I did get a chance yesterday to get back to my TV viewing. I'm kind of one of those, you and I have talked about it. We did it again.
How much?
One episode
of
Okay.
Rami.
So you got 3 TV balls up in the air right now?
Here's what happened. She was tired, and she's like, all right, I'm good, so I'm going to go to bed. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, all right, do I go back in for a third episode of
And would she get mad if you watched it without her?
No, she had already. Okay. She had a third episode of Bear, or am I going to go to Your Honor, which then would require a credit card because my quick little free trial is done.
Sure.
So I was like, all right, let me go. And I was interested in the plot of Rami. I thought it was interesting. I like it. If I had to rank them right now, all of them got 1 episode in. Bear got 2. I'd actually go Your Honor. I'd go Rami number 2. I have some interest in that one. And Bear, not that it's bad, it's just so chaotic. I feel like I need to...
It's not easy watching.
It's not an easy watch.
And, like, Rami, I mean, I would assume relates to your life somewhat, and I think that it might be interesting to hear what you say about it once it's done, once you've watched all of it. But it won a ton of awards. It was really well received.
Yeah, in a weird way, it kind of is. It's kind of, to be honest, a little relatable.
Yeah?
Yeah, just because... it's like a first-generation Middle Eastern person in the United States of America. So it speaks perfect English. You know,
dealing
it's like
with,
all that.
Culture clash, things like that, too. Your parents having to do different jobs than you might want to do eventually. Yeah.
A lot of familiar beats for you?
In some sense.
Yeah.
In some sense. Take the Muslim part out, throw Catholic. It's like there's a lot of similarities. And the foundation of it being...
Now I kind of want to watch
the foundation of it being religion.
Okay.
Right? Like religion kind of meshing into the mix. So it's interesting.
You mentioned that Lady Slee was not watching TV with you last night because she was tired. Did you get a chance to run it by her? Did you get a chance to ask her about next Wednesday?
Ooh.
No.
No.
That's funny when you said that. I was like, what are you talking about? I will ask her. I'll make sure.
Her a text right now.
I'll make sure. I'll make sure to ask her. I will ask her today. Okay. I'll ask her today.
Okay. I will remind you. I will.
No, I know you will. I know you will.
I think it's a really good idea.
No, it is a good idea. I'm kind of trying to think.
She'll say yes.
Actually, I'm not sure if she'll say yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Definitely not sure if she's not a... It wouldn't... Let's just say it wouldn't be her... It definitely wouldn't be her comfort zone.
Okay. So. Is she willing to step out of her comfort zone occasionally?
We'll find out.
Okay. I guess
I told you what I say yesterday. I said my first Ask Slee to her will be, will you do Ask Slee? That's my first question to her.
I think I didn't. Never mind. I haven't told that story on the air. I'll tell you at some other point. We were talking about confusing things, the weather, the hail, the sunshine, the wind, all the things going on yesterday. I think that was nothing compared to how confused I am with what's going on with the Lakers. I think
you're Nostradamus by the time we left the show yesterday.
I told you that was going to happen. That they were going to win that game did not surprise me. That they did win the game did not surprise me. They kind of had to, right? It was
had
just
to.
They kind of had to win that game. If they didn't, it was going to be a huge problem. When we left the show yesterday, it was Anthony Davis is not going to play because he aggravated something in his foot, right? That he was dealing with a foot problem. By the time that the game had started, there were all sorts of different theories as to, well, was it a scheduled day off from a few weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Is it something that he's because I read a quote where Darvin said he's 100% healthy, only he's dealing with a foot thing that we need to be caught because 100% healthy and we need to be cautious with a foot thing, those can't both be true at the same time. They can't be true. You're either 100% healthy and you should have played, or you've got a foot thing that needs to be monitored. It can't be both of those things.
Can I read you that quote?
Please.
He said, I'm not saying it flared up or anything. He's absolutely playing pain-free.
Okay.
It's just something we're monitoring that we want to be extra careful and cautious about.
That's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. That is a ridiculous quote that I think if Darvin saw it written on a piece of paper would be like, can I try that again? Can I try a different explanation of what I was trying to get at? Mm-hmm. Because, look, there are no good answers to why he didn't play yesterday, but now I'm more confused than ever before. Because if this was a scheduled day off, I think a lot less of Anthony Davis. A lot less. If this is an injury, I kind of feel how I've always felt about Anthony Davis, which is he gets hurt a lot and he misses a lot of games. That's kind of, it is what it is. But if this is, hey, we decided he was going to not play against Oklahoma City 2 weeks ago, right, when Darvin, I think, had, or Jovan Buha had the tweet about, we expect everybody to play in every game from this point forward. We got all this stuff to go. And then, so that was something that was said about a week and a half, 10 days ago.
February 23rd was when he said it.
Call it 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago, we're playing all hands on deck, but we had this scheduled day off. But now LeBron's out, and there's just none of this adds up. None of it adds up. It makes Anthony Davis look bad, makes the Lakers look bad. I know they won the game last night, and that's good because it kind of keeps them in it, but that's almost an ancillary topic to what happened yesterday. What the hell is going on?
So that's why yesterday when I said, I think you took the literal portion of me saying, I'm surprised Anthony Davis is not playing. And you took that as literal. I know what you're saying. What you're saying is, Al, there is not one game out of 82 that they play that you should be surprised if he's not he's not playing. He's playing 50% of the games. It's a coin flip in the last 2 years of whether he's going to be in there or not. But the point that I was trying to make was, yeah, but this is coming out of nowhere. That during the Memphis game, Dave McMenamin came on the pregame show yesterday, and I asked McMenamin kind of a similar thing. I said, Dave, did you have an idea that this was coming? And let me lay it out, because I think there's some information that...
Are you as confused as I am?
Of course I am.
Okay,
that's why I was so confused.
You.
Yesterday, I was confused for some of those reasons. I'll tell you what kind of Dave mentioned to me when we come back. And I don't know if it adds to the confusion or if it doesn't, but
it's starting to hurt.
Keeps things...
Should start hailing in the studio all again. That would make it better. That's coming up next. It's Travis Slee, 7.
If you didn't eat it like Mace, you're good.
We're here each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Do you have like a taco guy, like a go-to person, like in your phone, his name, and then it says taco guy, or no? Honestly, like, do you go to the same person?
We have a couple that we use.
Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Hailstorm. Sunshine. Tornado. Whatever it was.
Driving home.
Yes.
Water spout.
Those are terrifying, by the way. Water spouts. You ever seen those, Al?
I've not, but...
That's basically a tornado over the ocean.
Yeah.
Where the water just gets sucked up into the sky.
That's cozy.
Oh, you guys, I got on this
Jesus.
thing on TikTok talking about these like rogue waves. Have you heard about these?
Emily, please stop. That is rogue wave is one of the most terrifying.
Have you been on my YouTube or what's going on over here?
How did you run
my
into
password.
rogue
I don't
waves?
know. It's like sometimes when TikTok algorithm, like I like weird, like sometimes like oceanic things, and they were just talking about how all these shipwrecks happen. A lot of times people can point back to these rogue waves that scientists thought like were super rare, but they happen like 30 times a day across the United States,
They
across
happen
the world.
all the time,
Yes.
and they sink ships.
Exactly.
So that's cool. You want to get on a cruise? How was your cruise? Well, it was cool until the rogue wave sunk the ship. Yeah.
Could you imagine? No, I can't.
No,
imagine.
I can't. This is from Matthew
Let's not
Pelosi
try to imagine.
in the Travis Lee community. I was told I'd never have to deliver mail in the snow in Southern California. Well, that happened yesterday in Cyprus. Kmar says it freaking snowed yesterday in Menifee. Wild. Now let's go to Johnny in Irvine. Johnny, you're on with Travis Lee. What's up, Johnny?
Same thing. I live in Irvine, and it was kind of reversed. It was snow, then the hail, then the rain. It was beautiful outside. It started snowing, then it hailed, and then the rain. I just wanted to give my 2 cents.
Appreciate it, man. You know what I'm hoping for
Thanks,
next?
Johnny.
You know those markers when you go up to the mountain that just make sure that. So let's say they're like 6 feet high.
Oh, yeah.
And it's there to let you. We should just start putting those all out everywhere.
Down the 405 in Long Beach.
Yeah, even though we hit less than 1 inch, and it's going to happen once every 15 years, we just need markers. So when people come into town, and we could tell them, well, it snowed back on March 1st
Okay.
for 17 seconds, so now we have markers everywhere.
See, I know you're making a joke, and it is funny, but what you said is bothering me, and here's why. You said it happens once every 15 years. No, it doesn't. I've lived here my whole life.
45 years?
Like, never?
Yeah.
Century?
It happens maybe once every 500 years.
I love how
so.
soft we all are, and it's the truth. No,
It's
you're
not
not
soft.
It's no, but just
It's
listen.
shocking.
It's shocking.
Yes.
But I love we were also overreacting with just that it was cold for a few days. I just love that
that's
this
different.
is how
That's
we're
different.
spoiled.
I understand what you're saying, and you're not wrong, but it's different. Like a cold snap is a cold snap. Okay, nothing makes sense.
We've had a 3-month cold snap, essentially since the new year.
Nothing makes sense. It snows in L.A. now, and it's 80 in Chicago in February. It's just this is not how this is supposed to go. I'm just saying that get your affairs in order.
Fair.
That's all I'm saying.
Are you promoting some pickleball here?
We can. Would you like to?
Well, I only reason why I'm mentioning it is because
Today's
in a
your
few
day.
hours,
Yeah.
I'm going to be out there with Bert. By the way, I got to find out here.
Did you find a fourth?
We all have. I don't know if AK is coming or not, but I think Greg's going to be there a little bit early, so we'll do a little one-on-one action. Here's the only thing: I don't know what I need to bring because I just have my paddle. So I could see Greg and Jorge also
parka?
just
Nobody
coming with
brings
their
any
paddle,
balls?
and nobody brings a ball. So we got to get that part figured out.
Somewhere, right?
Yeah, we got to get that. I'll stop. Where were they? Target? Where I got
Big
to go?
Five,
Dick's,
Target,
Big Five?
yeah,
We'll go.
all of those things.
Well,
You'll have
Kinko's have them.
Probably. I think right behind the pads of
Panda Express. What are they? Are they selling at Panda Express? Where do I have to go?
You can get them anywhere you want. Did you find a fourth person? Are you bringing balls, Berg?
I need to talk to AK,
Okay.
but
So no, 3.
no.
So we got
We're
3.
at 3 right now.
Do you have the equipment?
No, so this is where Sliwa comes in.
This is awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
you got to swing by Dick's. Lee.
That's fine. I'll do it on my way. I'll do it on my way home.
Just get a
Yep.
couple balls. Just
Okay.
not 2, but I think they might have.
You should get more than 2. I don't
Yeah.
know.
What's the right number?
No, well,
3
here's
or
the thing.
4.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, if you want to get like a.
Just do they
sleeve
sell them
of balls,
individually?
don't know.
I have
Is
no
it-
idea.
Is it if I buy 3, do I get 1 free?
They come in a donut box.
Just trying to do the finances right now.
They're coming in a 3x4 row.
So here's the thing, though. We're going to a park that other people are playing at. So
Okay.
if we want to play, we have to play either like even if it's just the 2 of us, we can do that. But we're going to be playing against 2 other people. Like you put it's a paddle system. You put your paddle in and you move and you keep moving it up until you go onto the court.
Okay.
So
Do you
so
know?
despite the fact
I don't know about this.
I didn't know about it, but I understand. It's like winners stay on the court in basketball kind of situation, right? That
Yeah.
if you and I are a teammate, we get there, we put our paddle in the queue, and then if another team shows up before the team we want to play shows
Yeah.
up, their paddle goes in the queue.
Exactly.
So
We
here's
play
my
those
question.
guys.
Here's my
Exactly.
question. Just so we kind of make it look like we know what's going on. Do we say when we get there, like, hey, we got next? Like, what are the
No,
proper terms?
we take
Because I
our-
want to have that down before we go.
Excuse me, sir.
We take
We'd
our
like
paddles.
to play some pickleball.
So the best part about this is that all these guys have their paddles and all that stuff, and ours will say "Payback's coming"
Yep.
is next.
Yeah.
Corporate Greg is
They're going to
next.
think you guys are so into it, right? That you've got these custom-made
Yep.
paddles that are really nice.
With our names
So
on
here's
it.
the
names
equivalent.
on them.
Here's the equivalent.
God,
Here's
these
the
guys are
equivalent.
Awesome.
You go out to a basketball floor or you go to a gym. The equivalent is the person that's got really nice new shoes.
Uh-huh.
and they have
The new
like
and
the
ones?
gear is all there, and then you give them a basketball and they hit the top of the backboard. That is the equivalent of what they're going to see.
Rain dance.
I
when we
think
come back.
every sport has that because I play a little golf here and there. I could tell you with about an 80% accuracy. I just need to look at your golf bag and I know if you're good or not. I don't even need to see you swing a golf club. I just need to look at your bag and see what kind of equipment you have, how worn it is.
How worn? Okay, good. I'm glad that's the way you're describing it. Yep.
Because if you have really old equipment that's well worn, you're a good golfer. Because you found something that works for you.
Yep.
That
But if you're a CEO of a company and just got the brand new
if you got
Callaways,
something that's got brand new bag, everything looks like it just came off the showroom floor, not a chance.
So you and I have played golf together, and I'm not a very good golfer. I'm okay, but like I have really old clubs because I got them from my dad, who is a good golfer, and they're all completely worn. Does that change your opinion?
No, because
I have worn clubs.
I could tell by your bag that you are somebody that is okay, that doesn't play very often. If you just said, who does this belong to?
You're like, that's Bird.
That is a hand-me-down from somebody's dad from a long time ago that plays a little bit, but not a ton.
Okay, that's
Yes.
fair. Look, so you got it right on. I like that.
They're every sport's
I'm
got
going to
it.
jog to the court, almost like a half sprint, and we got next. And then they're going to say, "What are you doing?" And I'm going to say, "I'm not
put your
sure. I'm
paddle.
going to go ahead and sit now here, and you guys just tell me when it's
And you're
time."
gonna say, "Payback's coming."
Payback's coming.
Old putter.
I mean, I'm excited to go play with you. I think the two of us at least should get out there. At
be fun.
5 o'clock, I think we should
Yeah,
be
it'll be
okay to just paddle around, dink.
The
a little
only
bit.
thing that could hurt us is there's finally sun, and maybe people just want to get the hell out of their home.
Well, yeah, probably.
But it's still gonna be cold.
Look, I'm
Still
already
be
in
chilly.
my stuff. Like I got my shorts under my jeans. I got the shirt ready to go. I'm ready to get going straight from here to the court. Pickleball madness.
Because it is coming up March 18th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Agape Pickleball Center, Mile Square Park in Fountain Valley. You can reserve your seats at ESPNLA.com. The event, of course, is open to the public. Come on out, hang out with us, press the flesh. Thanks to everybody at Michelob Ultra, Bud Light Seltzer, and Pizza Hut. So make sure that you come on out. And it's not just watching us play pickleball. You can do pickleball demos. There's TVs to watch college basketball. There's a beer garden. There's a kid zone. There's everything that you're going to want to do. And we'll hang out and just, I'll have a beer with people if that's what they want to do.
There you go.
I'm pretty good at that.
We counted it yesterday. He might end up with 28 beers.
Sounds about right. How many of those do you shotgun?
So this is what happened
Maybe
at the
one or
Mandy's,
two, right?
Okay, so because I have a certain set of skills, people wanted to try me. Okay,
Well, you don't do that. Just don't. Just leave them alone.
And so I did it once. I dusted the guy, and a lot of other. It's like one of those things. You have to. It's like when you go into jail. That's just what I've heard in the movies.
Because
you
you've
got to
been to
fight
jail
the
so many
biggest,
times.
baddest guy, right? And then everybody kind of leaves you alone.
That concept
So-
sounds great.
But if it would you rather be in one fight and get your butt kicked, or would you rather have to fight every day? One and get your butt kicked, right?
You'd get stronger if you fight every day.
Well, the
Yeah,
problem
I don't wanna
is,
fight every
even
day.
if you
That
go
sounds
find the
bad.
biggest and the baddest guy and you decide to fight him and you get your what kicked, it's not like everybody else is going to say, well, leave him alone. They're going to say, well, this is easy money.
But no, he's not scared and he will fight back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick my spot. The point being,
Travis is using his toothbrush as a shank.
toenails.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. They sharpen
Oh.
their toenails. That's a fun place to go.
Oh wow! Look at
Anyway,
that. Yeah, I'm lasting 10
I
years.
took one person down, but then there was more. Let's do it. I'm like, I can't shotgun a beer every 10 minutes. That's not going to work. I don't
You
want to leave
can.
on the stretch. Not for very long. Not for very
It's
long.
not that you can't do it; it's that you won't do it because you don't want to die.
It's just you're not committed.
Maybe not.
That's what
Maybe
it is.
not. So that's how that shook out. But yeah, I'll maybe one. Maybe
See if
one.
AK,
We can do like a group thing.
get the latest on AK here, and let's see what
See,
he ends up saying.
unlike you texting Lady Slee immediately to find out whether or not she's going to do it next week, I'm
Yep.
going to text AK right now.
Do your thing.
That's how
to
you do
make
it.
sure.
Yeah, well, you should
That's the way to-
get
that's the way
your
to do it.
pixel out and text Lady Sleep.
Yeah, like, what? Is she busy? She working?
She does work, but
Yeah, but that's-
Sure, I get
know
it,
She
but-
worked, but she's
She looks at her phone.
She's not in a submarine. She'll get the text. Right?
we're going to get an answer. I'll get an answer today. I'll get an
She's
answer
in the
today.
mountains right now.
Let's try another phone call here. Let's go to Skylar in Hawthorne. Skylar, you're on with Travis Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys, thanks for taking my call. I was at my daughter's school waiting to pick her up. It was like 3 p.m., and this mom right next to me, she's like, it's freezing. I'm like, I know. And then it started snowing. It was the weirdest thing ever. I'm telling you.
Hawthorne. Hawthorne, that makes sense.
Hawthorne's what? As the crow flies, Skylar, Hawthorne's what, 6-7 miles from the ocean?
Yeah, it's like it's right there. You get the breeze. It's like it's kind of like Mar Vista. But it's like you're right there. You know what I mean? It's beautiful.
Everything's fine.
Love that everything's merging. Merge the ocean with the snow. I love it. It's perfect.
Thank you, Skylar. Yeah, look,
perfect.
I'm just gonna. I should have known when I went to Bandon last week. It's like, yeah, we're getting closer to the end. I've been worried about this for a few years now, but it's escalating.
Taylor, he's nervous. He's nervous over there.
I've been nervous.
He's nervous over there.
Calm down, Trav.
I could tell in his voice. I could tell in his voice. He's
tell in my voice. I'm telling you, I'm nervous.
No, I know, but I could also tell you have like some. It's cracking every once in a while. It's starting to get very nerve-wracking.
Well, I'm just saying when it happens, you're like, what's going on? I'm like, I tried to tell you that this was going to happen. All right, I need you to try to explain to me how he's 100% healthy and playing without pain, but we're going to keep an eye on his foot. But everybody's going to play every day, including back-to-backs, because this is the time of year where every game matters unless you have a scheduled off day. I'm going to need you to wade through
we'll break it down.
Absolute nonsense that got vomited at me yesterday. It's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah. First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
So while you guys were dealing with the crazy weather all across Southern California, my friend and I went to a concert last night, and it was really fun. I had a great time.
Who'd you see?
Maggie Rogers. She's like she has like pop, folk music, kind of a good mix of stuff. She was performing at the Shrine. I hadn't been to the Shrine at USC
Old school
before. It was really fun.
Yeah,
really cool. My one bone to pick with the Shrine is there's a lot of stairs. I was in the third mezzanine. Okay, it's on me maybe for buying a cheap ticket, but whatever. It was still like kind of expensive. But third mezzanine, had to trudge myself up a bunch of stairs. That's my only bones to pick maybe. And there's a funny story. So my friend and I kind of got there right a little bit before the opening act got out. So we were there enjoying him, but then we were like, hey, we should get a picture at some point. And it was kind of trying to fill in around us. And so we asked the girl behind us. I was like, hey, because usually, you ask a girl, you're like, hey, because they're probably going to take a good picture. So we asked her, she's like, hey, like, would you mind taking a picture of me and my friend? And she's literally in the row behind us. And she's like, I can't, but fair warning, I'm a little drunk. And I was like, sure, you go try. And so she took my friend's phone, and I took a picture of us. And it's just probably the worst picture that me and her have ever taken in our entire lives. It was bad angle, like blurry and all that good stuff. So we were like, thanks. like this is because always after take the picture, you're like, oh hey, like how did it turn out? Like, do you need to take another one? And then we were like, oh no, it's great. And then we're like, delete it immediately. Like there's stuff that you do to
wait till she goes to the bathroom and then ask the person in the row behind her to do it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And then
do it in front of her. That was so good. Thank you so much. Do you mind taking us a picture?
Right. And then I had like these new pants that I wanted to try on because they're really cute. They're like really funky, like different pants than I would normally wear. But they were definitely let's just say standing pants. They weren't sitting pants. So like I don't know if you guys have this like thing that goes on with you guys.
Wait,
but like
need you to define the distinction between standing and sitting pants.
So there are sitting pants where you have to be able to sit comfortably in terms of like that it's not going to squeeze you too much. You're not going to be like super uncomfortable wearing these because like but
girls have it so tough.
These are pants that are good for standing because when you stand it's all like it fits. But when you sit you're like ooh. So I had to like at some points like I had
Taylor, the jeans you're wearing right now. Standing or sitting?
Both.
They're both.
Yeah.
Wow.
Finish your story, Emily.
So yeah, at points in time, so like we went to dinner beforehand and we went to the show. I had to like unbutton the top button just to sit comfortably because they're high waisted, and then I had to like cover my stomach to be like, yeah, look, this is fine. I don't have my buttons unbuttoned. And then when I sleep as well. So you know, again, this is just a peek behind the curtain of what we go through.
I was going to say, so these pants are like if you're doing anything other than just walking from point A to B and then turning around and walking from point B back to A, these pants stay in the closet from now on.
Or you're just prepared. Like you're just like, okay, I'm going to be a little uncomfortable and I might need to plan around this. But I think that it's like it's part of the look and it has to be high waisted.
I wish I didn't understand what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. I know exactly.
I just learned something.
There are some pants that feel fine when you're standing up, and then when you sit down or try to do something, feel
there's
less
plenty of like
fine.
Skinny jeans out there. There's like leather pants out there that people wear that they're not made to be sat in for long periods of time.
All right, thank you. Go ahead and try to unpack everything that we found out yesterday. I'm going to leave it up to you because I've done it. I've said it 2 times already and my head hurts. So you kind of walk us through what happened yesterday.
So first off, I don't think there's let's just say that a lot of it was contradicting itself leading up to the game, and then anything that happened pre or post was also confusing. Lakers played against the Memphis Grizzlies Tuesday night. AD actually had a really good night. What do you have? 30 and 20, or I forget how many rebounds, 15, 17, whatever. 3 block shots. Lakers lost that game. Mm-hmm. And McMenamin came on in the pregame show, and I was curious to get his thoughts. I'm like, Dave, did you kind of see this coming that AD was...
I'm sorry, Al. To kind of go back, just to kind of set up where it got confusing was Anthony Davis, to your point, left the game against Memphis without any noticeable injury.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There was no mention of it post-game that, hey, my foot's bothering me. Mm-hmm. Then we've come to work yesterday.
So can I set it up the way?
Sure.
Because I think the McMenamin thing is gonna hit on that. I said, Dave, were you surprised that Anthony Davis isn't playing today? And he said, all right, yes, I am surprised because post-game show against the Grizzlies, I talked to him. And it was how his game was doing, how important the next game was going to be against the Oklahoma City Thunder, that there was no indication that Anthony Davis was not going to play. So yesterday when we were doing our show and it came out that he's out, I'm like, well, that's not how it usually works. It doesn't work like that.
It does with him.
I'm going to know prior because, hey, it's a back-to-back. Maybe there's not even any of the reporters asked after the Grizzlies game, hey, AD good for tomorrow? Trust me, the reporters will ask that question. They didn't ask because it didn't seem like it was going to be a topic. Next day comes, we're doing our show, and then that comes out. So I think that
he's not going to play, and specifically he's not going to play because of a foot ailment.
Yes. And by the way, typically in situations like that too, it's very common to not tell the other team that he's not going to play until before tip-off, half hour before tip-off. They'll put him as questionable, right? They don't want the other team to prepare this. No, Lakers said, right out the gate, he's not playing. I thought for me, what was confusing or the most confusing was, okay, so somebody's asking me yesterday post-game, is this precautionary, like Darvin Ham is saying, or is it a bigger issue? And I said, well, I guess we'll find out on Friday, because if it's precautionary, then he should be playing on Friday against the Minnesota Timberwolves. If it's not precautionary, then I would. If it's a bigger issue, then I'm assuming that he wouldn't play.
Free. You got to throw that part in there too. That the head coach of the team has said he's playing 100% pain-free.
Well,
but simultaneously, we're being protective of a foot thing that we need to keep our eye on it. Those two things can't be true at the same time.
Well, I'm okay with if Darvin Ham had said something along the lines, guys, look, there's 3 back-to-backs left for the entire year. I cannot tell you with certainty that AD is going to play in all 3 of them. If there was a little bit of a heads up on it, I understand that. The problem is we didn't really have a heads up on it. Remember Braun at the All-Star break. Remember Braun at the All-Star break saying 23 games left. We're going to try to play all of them. All this. The
What'd
tweet
you say?
from
February 23rd, right?
Is when Jovan put out. That's when Darvin Ham had said.
Darvin Ham had said everybody's playing every game unless there's an injury. Unless there's an injury. Mm-hmm. We had no, and then he doesn't play in the second half of a back-to-back. They're still outside the line. They're running out of games. LeBron James is down. Circumstances have changed dramatically.
Angelo Russell's out, too.
So if anything, you're going to be more likely to play more often. The opposite happens. And then you get conflicting explanations as to what it is. And it just, none of it adds up. None of it adds up. And if Anthony Davis just took a day off, that is inexcusable. It's inexcusable that you cannot, at this point in the season, where they are, with LeBron James out, with D'Angelo Russell out, with them looking up at everybody that's in this position at this point, to just say, hey, listen, man, I need a day off. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that other than it's inexcusable, and it makes me think a lot less of him.
Okay, do you think that's the case?
I don't know, because I'm getting conflicting reports. I'm getting 2 different stories from the same people. I don't know. So this is where my confusion lies, Al, is he just because yesterday we were told this was a scheduled day off prior. Okay, that's bad. That you can't take a day off, because I had this on the books a long time ago. Yeah, but the circumstances have changed.
No, you can do that. You can do that.
But the circumstances are very different.
But your circumstances, you're talking about the circumstances of where the Lakers are today,
and LeBron James being injured.
Okay, but I think that's the point that Darvin Ham was trying to make. And listen, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I think if it was communicated prior of, fellas, just so you guys know, let's say after the Memphis game, there's no guarantee AD is going to play in the Oklahoma City Thunder game, then I think this kind of quiets all of that stuff.
Oh, I think it makes it worse, Al.
I don't think it does. I think if we knew.
No. Here's why. The Lakers are in 11th place. They've got 19 games left.
But we're going to go back to this. And this is exactly Darvin Ham's quote. His quote is, I cannot allow the standings and I cannot allow who's in and who's out to determine what
crazy.
To determine what the training staff is saying Anthony Davis should do.
But, okay, that's fine if they're saying he's hurt, but they're not saying he's hurt. They're saying he's 100% pain-free. It's all over the map. There is no and I'm not saying you, but if I'm trying to follow what your explanation of what their explanation is, that he's healthy, that he just needed a day off. You can't take a day off right now. You can't. You just can't. We're outside the line. Our best
it's not October.
It's not October.
Yeah, but I think you're simplifying it too much.
What's
I'll
complicated
tell you what's simplifying it. And I want to make sure that I'm not trying to say it's okay he didn't play yesterday. What I'm trying to say is, if the training staff and the coaching staff said to Anthony Davis, hey, AD, go ahead. You can play tomorrow. Go ahead. You're good. I don't see Anthony Davis walking in and saying, guys, I'm not going to play tomorrow.
Okay, fine. But that's not what anybody's saying. The point is we're left to try to figure out what it is because there's conflicting information. That bad stuff bubbles up when there's no clarity, when there's a lack of information, when there's a lack of communication.
That part I agree with. That's a lack of communication over the last 48 hours. I agree with that.
Look, if this were LeBron James I'll even put a different guy in there. Let's say it's Russell Westbrook. If Russell Westbrook just all of a sudden couldn't play and they said, look, you go, okay, Russell Westbrook plays every night.
Yeah.
It's like, fine, he needed a day for...
You wouldn't say anything.
You wouldn't go, huh? With Anthony Davis, it's nothing but, huh? It's nothing but, what huh? Today?
And it seems to be kind of a pattern of this like dysfunction. I don't know if that's the right word. Like this disconnect between the players, coaching, and the training staff and the coaches and what they're telling the media. Because like when Darvin Ham said, "Oh yeah, I didn't know about LeBron's pop at his foot," or they said that I heard a pop. Like, how does Darvin not know that? And continue. It just feels like it's There's something growing
all over
on
the
there.
map. And had they said, look, he has a foot thing that flared up overnight, that when we got to the gym the next day, he wasn't feeling his best, and we feel like it would be in his best interest to not play tonight.
And we told him you're not going.
Great. That's not what they said. It's not. What they said was he's 100% pain-free, but we need to keep an eye on the foot. Just 10 days or 12 days
No, they didn't
ago,
help themselves.
Everybody's playing every night unless they're injured, and then he doesn't play, 10 days later. He's not. It's all over the map. It's really disheartening.
What I cannot argue is they are all over the place. I cannot argue that. The only thing that I was trying to kind of put into play here is I don't think it's Anthony Davis, and maybe I'm wrong on this. I don't think it's Anthony Davis after the Memphis Grizzlies game, without any indication, telling them, guys, I need a day off. I don't think it's that. And that's my only point. I don't think Anthony Davis is telling the coaching staff and the training staff, who would be telling him, hey, you're good to go for tomorrow, and he's like, nah, you guys go ahead without me. I just don't think it's that.
Okay. You can feel however you want. My point is, I don't know. You've told me 6 different stories, and I don't know which one is the most likely. You could be right. He could be 100% free. He could have needed a day off. He could have a foot injury. He could be dealing with a nagging little thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've thrown them all at me. And with this particular player, this sort of confusion
doesn't get some of the benefit of the doubt and everything else that comes with it. Yep.
Our greatest fear about that particular player is he's always hurt and he's always missing time. And then add in the confusing part of this, it's like a double whammy. It's a double
I think everyone was confused pre-game. Everyone was confused post-game. There was nothing that happened.
And post-morning.
And post-morning. No, and I don't think anything happened to clear up some of that stuff. Like I said, there were certain things said by Darvin Ham, whether it was a couple weeks ago or so, where kind of gave you an indication that you're thinking these guys are going to go if they're healthy. And there are 2 more back-to-backs that the Lakers have. One thing that might get lost in all this, and I know it's the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I know it's Shea Gilgeous wasn't there. I understand that. They did go 2-1 on this road trip, which was obviously incredibly important. And D'Angelo Russell, we already know, is not going tomorrow.
That's official?
That's official. We already know. He told Dave McMenamin yesterday post-game that
flies.
he can't go tomorrow and that he'll check to see if he can go on Sunday.
Imagine, though, if tomorrow they're like, it's a scheduled off day. Well, no, he's 100% pain-free, but no, we're keeping an eye on it. It's like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it? With D'Angelo Russell, you just go, he's hurt, he's missed some time, he's not ready to go yet.
His 4th game in a row that he's missing, yeah.
It tracks. None of the AD stuff really tracks. Hey, did you see? Coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710. All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I thought I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Hail and sunshine-loving Taylor Smith with Hey, Did You See? What do you got for us,
Little
Taylor?
hail never scared anyone. Come on.
Speak for yourself.
Did you see that optimists have a lifespan 11 to 50% longer than average? Travis. When was the last time you felt unbounded optimism? Sliwa.
Last time you felt unbounding optimism. Okay, so I kind of go through stages of this. I can't tell you it was on January 7th and it was this. But I will say this. There are certain days where you could just tell right out the gate. You're like, you wake up, you're negative, you're in a bad mood, and it sets the tone the rest of the time. And then there's days where you say to yourself, screw it. Who cares about it? Just go have a good day. And it really, truly does have an effect on the rest of your day. So I can't give you an exact moment, but what I can tell you is anytime you do have that mindset, I think it bleeds into the rest of your day. Both ways.
It's people related, right? It's who am I going to deal with for that particular day. And I'll use a really good example. When I know I'm going to spend time with my dad, I know it's going to be a great day. Because he is the single most optimistic person I've ever met in my entire life. He is always up. He sees the best in everything. He expects the best to happen. He's a wonderfully optimistic, pleasant up person to be around. And when you're with him, it's very hard not to get pulled into that world. And then there are all the other days. And then there are the days when you
by the time you're done with your dad,
else.
is his shoulders shrugged.
But that's what it is. And then there are other times you're like, well, I got to deal with this guy. I know he's a knucklehead.
This Sliwa
I got to deal with Sliwa. I know that he's going to make me want to bang my head against the desk today. So that's what it is. But no, it's the people that you're going to interact with on any given day. There are people that, when I went to Oregon, right? The trip, weather-wise, was a bust, but the guys I was with, I really, really liked. So you're optimistic. And what could have been a disaster turned out to be pretty darn good because of the people that you're with.
Yeah, people you're with. That's a good one.
There's this group of people on TikTok that call themselves the lucky girls. They say this mantra to themselves I'm so lucky, all these good things happen to me, all this stuff. And then good things just start happening to them. So it's maybe just that mindset or whatever.
Speak it into existence.
What was that book that was out there? There was a book about you basically think it and then it happened. The Secret.
Yes.
The Secret.
But I've been optimistic. The last time I went to Monterey, I was optimistic that the trip would go really well. But I think sports-wise, I know that wasn't your question, but last time I was very optimistic was when the Rams were going into that playoffs in last year. I was like, I don't know why.
Even after they spit the bid against the Niners on the last day.
But even though I was optimistic, I thought that they had a really good shot, and obviously it turned out well.
For me, it was actually the Clippers game. I thought that the Clippers were going to win that. At no point during the game did I think the Kings were going to win. But after the game, I just felt this sense of anything is possible.
Light the beam. Freedom.
Light the beam.
By the way,
it was only a double overtime 176-175 game, and he had a whole suite to himself.
Light the beam went from kind of a goofy Sacramento King to you know what? It's a pretty good bit. It's a pretty darn good.
Perfect for them.
And
it's legit.
And that they're good makes it so much. If they were a 20-win team,
can't light the beam once every 5 games.
But when you win more often than you lose, and you light the beam, it turned into what was goofy has turned into a kind of a cool thing.
It's a monument in Sacramento.
What happens to that when, let's say, the Kings, a couple years goes by, they're still lighting the beam, but now they're 14 games. They're 14 games below 500. You can't still light the beam, right?
Save on electricity.
Does that just end at some point?
It's not going to happen. It's going to be 20 years of
20
dominance.
years. Yep.
Dominance, Lee.
20
Get used to it. All right, next up. Did you see the list of jobs most likely to be passed down from a parent to their child? So steelworker was at the top of the list, followed by legislator, baker, lawyer, and doctor. So what is something your mother or father often did that you find yourself doing as an adult? Sliwa.
It's interesting for what they actually did, their professions. They had their own business. So technically what I'm doing is not that, right? I'm working for a corporation. I will say this isn't going to be the perfect comp. Work ethic, as in they worked. I mean, they were grinders, my mom and my dad, specifically my mom too. My dad had health issues as he got older, so my mom was like, cool, sounds good, just put everything on my back. I always kind of saw that from them, so not their exact occupation, but how they took their occupation. They just freaking worked. It didn't matter hours. It didn't matter this. It was like, no, we have to do it. Roll up the sleeves. So I would take that rather than an actual occupation that they did.
So I didn't follow in either of my parents' footsteps exactly. My dad was in retail for a million years. He worked for Sears for a very, very long time. My mom was a social worker, so obviously that's not what I'm doing. My grandfather was in this business. My grandfather was the Channel 4 sportscaster for a very long time. Was on CBS Radio for a very long time and worked in news and media basically his entire working life. So maybe it
did that drive you or no?
I grew up in a house that was inundated with sports.
Okay,
like there was never. You go to my grandparents' house, you're in my house. The TV is on, and there's a game on. There, when you're in the car driving from point A to point B, USC football is on, Dodger game is on, the Angel game's on, a Rams, a Raider game. That was the soundtrack of me growing up. So maybe that's what it is. I've never really kind of thought about it like that, but I was surrounded by media, sports in particular. The other part, though, as far what my folks did in my life that I emulate or try to is commitment to family and making sure that family moments run smoothly. Like, but I go to the Rose Bowl, right? You know, that was my grandfather's gig for a long time. He was in charge of it. Then my dad did it for a long time, and I've had my hands on the wheel for 10 or 12 years. Like, and I keep looking at Bobby like, dude, let's go. You need to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. You need to take over to do it. But holidays, Christmases, Thanksgivings, birthdays, they always made that stuff.
He'll take over, and he'll be the only group no one brings shoes. That's going to be part of the tradition.
You know what the equivalent would be? He wouldn't bring the tickets. He wouldn't bring the grill. He wouldn't bring the food or the beer. It wouldn't he wouldn't do something that you could theoretically get through it with. It would be something that would ruin the trip. Hey, Bob, you got the tickets? I guess
where's the grill?
In the garage.
It's a good point.
Or no, he'd bring the grill. He'd leave the propane. That's what it would be. It'd be the propane-less grill.
There are many lovely things that I've gotten from my parents, I think, in terms of like my personality. I didn't follow it in their like occupational footsteps either. Like, I think that my parents are really great about cultivating very close, tight-knit groups of friends and holding on to them very tightly and being a good host and being a good place for people to come to. And so I think that's lovely. There's something that I follow my parents' footsteps that maybe, I don't know, I maybe shouldn't have followed in footsteps about is like holding on to cars and things longer than I should. So like my mom likes to hold on to some things maybe longer than she should. And so it's same for my dad. So it's hard for me to let go.
When we were driving around the small towns of Oregon, going from Bandon to Eugene, it's like 2.5 hours. You drive through really teeny tiny towns, right? And just about every teeny tiny town you went through had these homes that are on the side of the road, and almost without exception, there weren't multiple broken down cars in front of these towns. And I'm like, Emily would do that. Emily would. I was thinking about you the whole way with the parking lot of cars in front of these places.
Hey, we got choices.
You got spare parts if you need them.
All right, let's sneak one more in. Did you see that there's a list of the age that you peak at everything? So the best age to learn a new language is 7 years old. The best year for peak muscle strength is 25. The best age for finding a partner for marriage is 26. So, Travis, if you had to choose your age forever, what age would you choose and why?
Okay, I would choose somewhere around 40 because you're still physically in pretty good shape, right? You're probably still strong and healthy and all of those sorts of things. Hopefully. You also have full adult maturity by that point. You're not super impulsive. You realize that things kind of come in waves. They come and go. You tend to not overreact as much as you do when you're 20 or even 25 or 30. Like, you think everything's a big deal. Almost nothing's a big deal. You get that perspective, I think, kind of evens you out as a person. I would take 40, I think.
I'll go with 11. No, I'm just kidding. I just want no responsibility at all.
Peak sleep.
It's not a bad answer,
which is not
by the way.
awful.
No.
It's not awful. I think I'm closer to 30. You just don't have there's still a lot of lack of experience left, or lack of experience that you've gone through. 40 is what I'm sitting at right now. I'll take 35. I think that's and maybe as I get older, I'll get closer to that number that you're talking about. But I think that's a perfect age of you've experienced some stuff, but you also haven't gone through crazy stuff.
Right.
Go by maybe 35.
And hopefully by 35 or
Still
40,
playing basketball
you've
at
got
35.
a career that's going, so you have a little bit of financial security. You've got something, at least you know how to do at least one thing reasonably well.
Let's both go back to 11.
11's not bad. Baseball career.
I like 22. All my friends live really close by. I live in a walkable city. I don't have a career responsibility. I can just go to class and learn things. If I could stay at 22 forever, I would.
It's not bad. It's not bad. There's really not a lot. I don't think 80 is the answer or 6. Those are probably everything in between's probably not too bad. All right, Anthony Davis. I want to continue the conversation. We got a lot of tweets. We got a lot of phone calls that I want to get to too. That give us your thoughts on what the heck is going on, and do you have an explanation as to what we saw yesterday and moving forward? That's coming up. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station. It is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
11 might have been the best answer. Just live your life. Mom, Dad, take care of you. Buy you baseball cards. Get to play Little League Baseball.
Your bones aren't brittle.
You feel you can fall down and pop right back up. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Dad, Parker's over. Can you bring some Twix?
There you go.
Butterfinger, 3 Snickers, and some Doritos.
How are you not 400 pounds if you existed on nothing but liquor store food?
It was healthy. They used to make it healthy before.
I don't think that's true.
And Gatorade.
Yeah, and Gatorade. There's another way to eat sugar.
That's the way I would do it, too, is I would have Gatorade, and I would just think of all the commercials, and I'm like, no, this is good for you. You need a lot of Gatorade.
When did the light go off? Like, oh, yeah, I should probably just have a glass of water.
35.
No. Actually, college.
Yeah.
College is when it started.
Oh, my goodness. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Marina Del Rey and Trey. Trey, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Trey?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Just want to say I'm a big fan of you guys. I'm a huge fan of the station.
Thanks, Trey.
Lived in L.A. for about 15 years. I've adopted the Lakers, the Dodgers, the Rams, and the L.A. Kings as my teams. But I'm also a U.K. basketball fan, Kentucky basketball fan. So I naturally love AD. Having said that, with the weather lately and with what we've been hearing, and sing from the Lakers, it feels a lot like the Wizard of Oz these days. So it's kind of like we're looking at the Tin Man, the Lion, and the Scarecrow. Anthony Davis has no heart. Rob Pelinka has no spine. And Darvin Ham seems to have no clue. I mean, that's what it just feels like. I'm a little lost. I'd like to click my red shoes together and go back somewhere else. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Trey. Look, there's always going to be criticism of the head coach. There's going to be criticism of the front office. There's going to be criticism of the players. That's life in pro sports.
Yep.
It's just the way that it goes. The Anthony, I forget which one of the characters that Anthony Davis was. I don't know, but the Anthony Davis portion of this is the part that is the most frustrating for me. Maybe somebody else is looking at it. The roster construction is the biggest problem, or the coaches. For me, it's not that. It's the Anthony Davis and the de-evolution of our expectations for him, right? The de-evolution from, hey, we just got the guy that's going to be the best player, not only on this team, but maybe the best player in the league for the next 8 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. That obviously is not going to happen. To, okay, maybe it's not that, but he's still going to be really good, and he's going to be a top 10 guy, and we can put him with LeBron. That feels like it's less likely to happen. To, you just don't know if he's going to be in or out of the lineup on any given night, as evidenced by what took place last night and the night before, and what may take place on Friday night. Now we're at that point, like, I don't even know when the guy's going to come to work or not. We just keep getting further and further down the list of acceptable options for him, and I have no faith that we're going to stop the descent. That there's been no evidence that even that plateau we had, Al, in November, where he was really, really good.
Yeah.
That only what was that? 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Probably close to 4 weeks.
Okay, 4 weeks is a
and then
blip.
mid-December was out for 5.5 weeks.
There you go. So it's okay. There's a wash. You had 4 good ones, 5 bad ones. And here we are.
Got a tweet here that I got to read. So latest here, Shams Charania just put this out. Lakers star LeBron James has a right foot tendon injury and will be reevaluated in 3 weeks.
Okay.
So let's. You want to do the math here?
So are we counting this as the week, as one of the 3 weeks?
I would count today as the start of your 3 weeks.
Okay. So we're here. So we got 1, 2, 3 weeks is March 23rd.
Okay.
And then they'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They'd have 9 remaining games
left.
And again, the key word in all of that,
reevaluate.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the key phrase.
So and just remember, anytime we say anything about reevaluate, I'm going to give this as an example. We just mentioned that AD injury. He was going to be reevaluated in 4 weeks when he went down against the Denver Nuggets. It took him 5.5 weeks to come back. They did reevaluate him in 4 weeks. Okay, we got another week and a half left. So just to play off what you just said, if you're going to get reevaluated in 3 weeks and there's 9 games left, I don't think anybody thinks he's coming back in 3 weeks, right?
I agree with that.
Okay, so even if you just take the remainder of that week left, you're looking at he'd come back with about 7 games left, something along those lines. At the best case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best case scenario.
Situation.
I think, obviously, the worst case scenario is he doesn't come back at all. Mm-hmm. If you get him, I think the best case scenario, if we're being very both realistic and optimistic simultaneously.
Week left in the season?
Something like that, right? Maybe a handful of games, maybe a small 3 or 4 games left. You're still close enough that those 3 or 4 games matter, and then you have him for whatever sort of postseason run you have. I think that's the best case scenario, that D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Davis, and the
all
rest
these
of your
role players.
roster keep your head above water long enough that when he does come back / if he comes back, he can be the difference to either get you in or get you out of the play-in and into the tournament. That I think that's the best case scenario, that if they fall 6 games out under 500 or even 4 or 5 games out of that 10th spot, then it doesn't matter if he comes back at all at that point.
And probably
I wouldn't be
won't
surprised
come
if
back.
they shut him down.
Yeah, probably won't come back. I'm going to read off a quick tweet here because I think something was happening yesterday, and this will kind of apply to some of the stuff you're talking about with Anthony Davis. And, oh, by the way, if Bron's pretty much going to be missing the rest of the regular season or a big chunk of it, that's when it kind of continues to fall back on AD, which is why so many people are critical about what kind of Anthony Davis you're going to see the rest of the way. Not even what kind of – are you on the floor or are you not? And I think that's all that matters. Because when he's on the floor, he's going to do his job. It's not that he's going to do – the question is, will he be on the floor? Will he not? Big E said, what's the discussion today if the Lakers would have lost last night? Is Slee still defending this AD decision? So the reason why I wanted to read that, because the Lakers – if hypothetically, and we don't know the story, but if the idea was he's going to miss one of these 2 back-to-back games, then the question becomes, this is an argument I was making yesterday, is, well, if he's going to miss one of those 2 games, well, why wouldn't he be playing the OKC game? The chances of beating Memphis at Memphis is a lot less likely. Mm-hmm. Go lock up that 1 win. If the Lakers were rolling the dice that way and said, well, let's use him against Memphis, see if we can not have 26 turnovers, and it was a 5-point game in the fourth quarter, maybe we could walk away with a win, and they still felt good that we could still maybe walk into Oklahoma City, Shea's in health and safety protocols. It didn't backfire on the Lakers yesterday, which the way it could have if AD wasn't there. I think the bigger question is this. They got 19 games left. Put aside how many games the Lakers need to win again the play-in tournament. I think the real question just comes down to how many of those games you think AD will play.
Exactly.
There's no prediction of it. I'm just saying that if Anthony Davis plays in 12 of those games, you tell me how you get in that play-in tournament. Right? Probably not. If Anthony Davis plays in 16 of those games and D'Angelo Russell is there as well,
I think he's more important than AD, quite
there's
frankly.
a more likely scenario.
So I want to go back to the first part about that tweet that you read, that imagine what the conversation would be if they didn't win last night. I honestly, Big E, think it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant for me. I'm glad they won last night. I thought they would win last night. I mentioned it on the show yesterday that I thought they would win because it was full desperation mode. They had to win. Dennis Schroeder was really good. They played well, and they won a game that they had to win, so good on them. That they won the game doesn't make me go, oh, well, they won the game anyway, no big deal, let's keep it. It's all of what we've been talking about all season, all last season, and particularly got ramped up last night, right? That this was just a more acute moment in the Anthony Davis novel. It was another one of those moments because here's a tweet from Animal Fries, well done. We don't have these conversations with any other players. It's an AD thing. I think that's right. That Anthony Davis, because of his talent and because of his availability or lack thereof, that's why we spend so much time on him. That's why he's so important. That's why he could potentially torpedo this thing by not being available. That's why when they won last night, it was the second story as opposed to they won the game and, oh, yeah, AD missed it. Is his foot okay? It was, what the heck's going on with AD again? Why are we constantly having this? Is Anthony Davis tough enough? Is he hurt? Is he not hurt? Did he get an off day? Was it? Is he healthy? Is he not? It's this constant, endless story about his availability. And it's, to your point, it's not going to go away. He could go out there on Friday, he could get 50, wouldn't be a surprise. And going into the game after that, it would be, is he going to play next game? I don't know. I don't know. Is it a scheduled off day? Well, no, it's not that. Is he 100% healthy? Yeah. Is his foot bothering him? Yeah. I don't know. I've thrown up my hands. It's impossible to try to decipher what you're going to get from this person on a night in, night out basis.
I have a difficult time. These conversations I think are a little bit more difficult for me because I can't judge someone's pain tolerance. I don't know what happened after the Memphis game. I don't. And frankly, I know there's not enough clarity to know. Right? So there's not enough that happened to where we can sit here and
Alex,
say...
they said, look, he got hurt. And he didn't think... He was fine at the end of the game. He woke up the next morning, his foot bothering him. That's perfectly fine. That falls into the category that you I think, are saying, which is, I don't know how the man's foot feels. I don't. And maybe it flared up in the middle of the night, but when there's all of these different stories about this particular player, it's when you go, I don't know, man. And I think almost all Laker fans, I guess a way to kind of turn it on its head might be, is there anybody that feels good about where we are with this? Is there anybody that's like, yeah, this really isn't a big deal? Does anybody think this is nothing? But I don't think there's many people in that group.
The problem is, too, is I don't think coming into this year anyone was saying, like if I'd have told you this, maybe you and I had a conversation in the offseason, I just can't remember. But I don't think there was anybody coming into this season saying, hey, AD is going to play 70 games this year, right? I don't think anybody was saying that. I think if you got 60 to 65 games, it's a good year. I think AD, the most games he's ever played in a season is 75. And I want to say he's done that twice. In all the other years, it's... By the way, 75 is a lot in today's NBA.
Yeah. 75,
but I think that was earlier.
75 is fine.
That was earlier in his career. It's the 40, 42, 41, 36 out of 72. It's those that is the bigger question. They got... Am I being too dramatic here? And I know you want to... I know the Anthony Davis thing is not kind of knowing when he's going to be in the lineup, when he's not going to be in the lineup. But the Lakers got arguably the most important weekend they've had in a really long time at crypto. Got Minnesota, they got Golden State. D'Angelo won't go tomorrow, we know that. And all these teams that are in front of the Lakers, you can't pinpoint anything. You can't say, watch out for the Blazers, watch out for the Pelicans, watch out for the Jazz. Every one of these teams are all over the place. I kind of find myself looking at these final 19 games, still thinking they can make the play-in tournament, but AD and D'Angelo have to be there. The question is how many of those games will they be there?
All right, we'll continue that conversation. More of your phone calls as well. And plus, did baseball get something exactly right? I think they might have. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, still overpaying.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
So I've kind of been on this rewatch kick. I've been doing a lot of rewatch of a lot of shows I used to love in the past, or I'm getting ready for the new season. So
Stranger Things.
I'm rewatching Girls right now, which I wouldn't recommend to anybody. I just love the show Girls, and it's kind of a guilty pleasure. But I also just rewatched Succession because I'm getting ready for the new season, the final season that's coming out this month. And, you know, I always am having a rewatch of The Office or all that stuff in there. So I thought of an idea because I know last week we did our bear draft. And Travis, you weren't here, but
I did see it.
It was really fun. It was a good time. So
As someone who lives on social media, Al, there's very few things I miss.
Right.
That sounds exciting, like a really exciting life.
It's funny.
Just do social.
It was during my snow in. And I'm like,
Right.
I've putted on this carpet for 2 hours. I got to find something else to do. I'm going to open up Instagram.
So I had the idea of maybe we do another snake draft and that we do most rewatchable TV shows of all time. So I think we're going to do that around like 12:15. So if anybody has any suggestions on Twitter or phones, definitely call in and give us some suggestions. But I think we have a pretty good draft coming up.
We'll do it. It's a good idea.
Rewatchable shows. Ooh, we all get roped in. There's certain shows we all get roped into.
It's funny when Momo was in here yesterday, and I said to her,
Murder, She Wrote.
I don't watch a lot of TV, or at least a lot of like serial TV, television. I watch sports and some other stuff, but not a ton. And then I started thinking, it's not exactly true because I watch a lot of old stuff, which I think kind of falls into this category that we're talking about.
Yeah,
here.
totally.
Yeah, so I got a list. I stole one off of Slee. Held his notes up a little too high. I'm like, ooh, that's a good one.
Can't take that one, bro. I don't even know which one you're talking
that's
about.
What I mean.
You can't take that one.
When it comes up, if I get it, I'll tell you, or if you take it, I'll tell you, or if somebody else takes it.
I had to cover up my notes because people were coming by and looking at it a little bit too hard. I was like, yeah, no, not this time.
Don't worry, Girls is not on my list.
Yeah, it's not on mine either. I'm just going to do it, though.
It's not going to happen. I want to read one. This is from Worthy Splash. Says, man, all Trav does is bitch and moan about AD. It's not an endless story about AD because he keeps bringing it up. Yet he never talks about all the other players that continue to miss time. He's becoming more and more annoying. I will concede or stipulate that I can become more and more annoying. That's fine.
I wrote that.
I believe you. If you really think that I'm the reason that AD is a topic, I don't know what to tell you, man. If you think I'm the one driving Anthony Davis doesn't play talk, sure, I'll take that. You're also dead wrong. Anthony Davis not playing.
It's every story around the Lakers right now. It's just this. That's the bottom line.
Charles Barkley calls him street clothes. Do you think I called Charles Barkley and told him to do that?
I think you did, Travis.
Yeah.
Come on.
Dude, look, I would love to have the juice to have me sit in this chair and make a topic that the entire NBA then seizes upon to drive all NBA conversation.
Let's put it this way. And this is an unfortunate reality, but it's a reality. Every season for the last, since Anthony Davis has been here, is based on his health.
Yes.
If he's available, they're a good team. I know last season you just didn't have the mix and everything else, but he still only played in 50% of the games. So if he's playing in more games, remember they shut down AD and Braun towards the end of the season, but it comes down to, and this is not, it's not uncommon. If Embiid plays half a season, Philly's done. If Giannis plays half a season, Milwaukee's done. The difference is they're not playing half seasons, which is why that conversation comes up. So
and fairly or unfairly, truthfully, when you're on the Lakers, it's different. Kawhi Leonard never plays, but he's on the Clippers. Nobody really cares, right?
Spotlight.
It's the Lakers are the team in the NBA, whether they're good, bad, or anywhere in between.
They are.
The Lakers.
They come up first.
Of course they do. If you open your phone, Lakers are at the top of the storyline, no matter where you are, right? That you can go anywhere. Lakers. Kawhi Leonard not playing is a story, but it's not the same thing. They've missed, we've talked about this, they've missed roughly the same amount of time, right? Isn't that about, or maybe even Kawhi's missed a little more?
I think I've heard John say Kawhi has missed more.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when he does play, he's pretty, and especially now, he's been good. Kawhi Leonard has been the best player on championship teams, continues to potentially be the best player. All of these things that Anthony Davis we were hopeful of that haven't happened yet.
And Darvin Ham said that Anthony Davis is 100%. Then don't say that. Like, if you're saying that, then why isn't he playing?
Okay, listen. They shouldn't have said that, because what we've just spent the last 48 hours kind of trying to decipher and everything else it does. It's as simple as this. Like, if the conversation is he's not playing in back-to-backs, done. Conversation's done.
Yeah.
If it's as simple as, guys, I can have my own determination. We have a training staff. That's why we pay him. And if the training staff says he's not going to go, then he's not going to go.
Mm-hmm.
This was part of the plan, which he kind of tried saying a little bit yesterday. But those pieces, those puzzle pieces just didn't fit. That communication portion doesn't help some of that storyline.
But I think the reason it doesn't help the storyline is because the communication, they're trying to figure out what it is. They don't even know exactly, potentially. That if it was just, look, he got hurt against Memphis and it didn't pop up until the next day, we all go, okay. Mm-hmm. It's disappointing. It's okay. But if it's, oh, no, he's 100% pain-free, then why isn't he playing? Mm-hmm. They actually kind of did him a disservice with that quote.
At the end of the year, when you're almost in the important games.
100%. That quote makes you go, wait, hold on a second.
And is it, are you saying it to be like, no, everything's fine?
Yeah, but it was bad. Mm-hmm. Because if it's, guys, this was if it were a scheduled day off, everybody would roll their eyes and go, you kidding me? But at least it's a consistent story. If it were, he's hurt, okay, yeah, I've heard that before, but he didn't play, but he's healthy? Okay. It's round and around and around.
And if you're just tuning in right now, we had a tweet from Shams and Trudell probably in the last 15 minutes ago. LeBron James has been evaluated by Lakers team physicians and medical staff. It has been determined that he has sustained a right foot tendon injury. LeBron will be reevaluated in approximately 3 weeks. We went and did the math. That would put you at March 23rd, which would leave 9 games left. That doesn't mean he's coming back in 3 weeks. I don't want to make too much of an assumption, but I think if we saw Bron back at some point in the rest of the regular season,
it's a win.
Then you're saying, okay.
And by the way, if we're being optimistic, that's a good scenario.
I can see that too.
Because if he does come back at all, it means they're still in it.
It means he's still in it, and Bron just had a 3-4 week break before you go into a playing tournament game.
Yeah. Let's try Martin in OC. Martin, you're on with Travis Lee. What's up, Martin?
Hey, Trav. How you doing, man? First of all, I love you, man. You're a great personality. Been listening to you for a long time.
Thank you.
Al, you're the man. So, this thing about, I've never heard this tone in your voice, man. It almost seems like you don't like the guy personally. And I understand with the injuries and stuff, we get frustrated. But really, the frustration, I think, should be on the Laker organization. One of your people brought it up, I think, last hour, that our head coach didn't even know our star player, LeBron James, heard a pop in his foot. So obviously there's some type of miscommunication between our training staff, our coaching staff, and then what relates to what goes out to you guys. My thing is, we have a leader in LeBron James who he broke that scoring record. He took 2 days off, decided to come back so he can play in the All-Star game, and then he gets hurt. He got hurt in that All-Star game too, by the way. But then he got hurt where now he's out. And we hear no complaints about this guy.
Well,
and I get it. He's more consistent than Anthony Davis, but we need LeBron just as much as we need Anthony Davis. I think both these guys should share in that responsibility.
Okay, a couple of things here. Thanks for the call, Martin. Appreciate the nice things you said about me and Al. Number one, it's not that I dislike Anthony. I don't know Anthony Davis at all. I don't like him. I don't dislike him. I don't know the guy. I'm deeply frustrated by the inconsistent performances and availability. It has nothing to do with whether I like him or not. I don't like him. I don't know the dude. Okay, and I don't have an emotional part of my heart because I've seen all these great moments with AD. Like, I love Magic Johnson. I saw all these things. I love Shaquille O'Neal. Right? That you develop an affection for these guys. I don't have that for him because he hasn't played enough, and it's super frustrating. So it's not. It's frustration. As for your LeBron comparison, I hear what you're saying. The reason I think LeBron gets treated very differently than Anthony Davis is because for the better part of 17 or 18 seasons, LeBron was there every damn night and performing at an extraordinary level.
Can't compare the two.
Every damn night. The last couple of years, LeBron's gotten banged up a lot, and it's disappointing.
In years 17, 18, and 19.
He created 17 years of this is what I do, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's banged up right now. And by the way, he's... What is he, 38, Slee?
He's 38 years old.
38 years old, 20th season.
3.5 seasons of playoff games.
And he's played more minutes and miles than just about anyone ever, so that it's starting to break a little bit. Is not Anthony Davis isn't 30.
He's 29.
Anthony Davis isn't 30 years old, and we talk about him like he's an old man, and he's not. So that's where whatever tone I'm putting out there, Martin, I think is a result of that. And what Emily said earlier was what you were talking about, that when the TV cameras picked up LeBron saying, I heard something pop, and when Darvin Ham was asked about it afterwards, he's like, I had no idea. I said to you next, I'm like, how does that communication not go through between LeBron and the training staff and the head coach and everyone else? Add that with what we saw yesterday where there were mixed messages going through. It just kind of adds to the general sense of, is everybody talking to everybody else? It certainly doesn't seem like it.
I can't defend that. It's that those two observations that he had, but I think you're right about you do not compare Bron and AD.
No.
Do not do that. And by the way, Anthony Davis, when he is on the floor and when he's there for 30 straight games, you and I were having this conversation yesterday, he is not here is the baton, go take over. And if that was the image that we all had when he got here, he's told us that he's not that player. That's okay. That happens. He's a top 15 player in the NBA. He's not a top 5 player in the NBA. The biggest issue with Anthony Davis has less to do with, there are times that I could be frustrated about AD on the court, but my frustration with AD on the court is different than, is AD going to play?
Oh, for sure.
That obviously is where you view, and that's how you look at it.
That's where my level of frustration, not his performance, which is frustrating, but not nearly to the level of availability.
No, you'll take that, right? Like, you'll take any performance, just be on the floor.
I've come to terms with that he's inconsistent. They're fine, whatever. By the way, most guys are. The Giannis's and KD's and Steph's and LeBron's, they're the exception. Guys being good in one night, bad the next, or mediocre the next, that's kind of NBA, right? Only if there are a couple of handfuls of guys give you that performance night in and night out, and he's not one of them. Factor Cap coming up next. If you're on hold, stay there. We've got a lot of Laker calls that we want to get to as well. It's Travis Lee. That's so cap, Dad.
Everything I've said is a cap, but I'm going to go fact.
First of all, it's not a cap. It's
No, it
just
is a cap.
Welcome to Factor Cap.
Hey guys, I want to give a shout out to Anthony Gaeta, who pointed out exactly why I might have liked to have been at age 22 forever. So, because this is based off of Taylor's "If You Want to Live at One Age in Perpetuity." I said 22, and I think we can all say why I wanted
Berg,
that.
what
number.
age?
What age? What probably
age?
25.
Okay.
I think 25 was going, but I didn't really know who it was, but I was having a lot of fun.
Can
I was having a
He was
great
hungover
time. All the time.
every other day.
All the time.
Riley was not born when
Was
you were
not
25.
born.
See, I need the kids in my life.
That's why I want to go a little.
Yeah.
I think 35 is probably the correct answer.
Yeah.
I mean, if I want to just have fun and be wild and be drunk all the time, 25.
yeah.
If I want to have a good life and be with Riley in a time when she's in a perfect
balance.
age,
Yeah.
good balance, know who I was, have a good job, 35.
Be responsible, 35, real things in your life, or 25, hungover every other day. I think you're leaning towards 25.
I mean, hungover. Really enjoyed the drinking part.
Try a hangover at 50.
I hate them now. So,
I think the last hangover I had was Burning Spear.
We're still
Burning
about
Spear.
45 minutes away from our rewatchable show draft. We have some great suggestions already coming in on Twitter. Keep them coming.
Yeah, give him to Trav because he's freaking stealing mine.
Well, you're gonna give something away to us?
Well, I would give somebody
All right, Greg,
one.
what is it?
No, I don't have to do it. I'll hold it. That's fine. Until afterwards, when you guys don't
Yes,
take it
when we
and
miss-
you're all
when we mess it
wrong,
up.
You
it's
can't
fine. I'll
yell at him and then say, "Go ahead." What is
Oh yeah,
it?
fine. If you want to.
I don't know, Greg. All
No,
right.
this is your game.
All right, so this is going to be from. Actually, you gave me this piece of sound. It was from Kike Hernandez talking before the game today, before the spring training game, about an incident in their 2020 World Series.
2020 playoffs, I had a tooth infection, so I was taking some antibiotics for my infection, and one of the side effects was diarrhea. And we got a big out in a big situation during the NLDS, and I screamed, I was DHing, and I thought I farted. I went out to lead off the inning, I struck out in 3 pitches. When I went in the dugout, went straight to the bathroom, put my pants down, completely started.
So you're saying you misjudged the part?
No, what I'm saying is I shit my pants during a game in the playoffs.
All right, so yeah, that's an unfortunate
Must be
situation.
spring training.
Yeah,
I love Kike
fun
Hernandez,
times.
by the way. He was the
Great.
best.
All right, so this is the worst thing that can happen to you in a high-stress situation. Travis, Factor Cap.
I'm going to take off high stress situation. It's I mean, it doesn't have to be high stress. It happens. It just that whether it's medication, you're sick, it just occasionally your physiological
mess happens.
It just happens, and it's terrible, and you do your very best to get it rectified as quickly as you can. So sure, fact.
Hey, Berg.
I wish Kike gave more details.
I think he gave enough details.
Just real quick, I bet my house that you've seen it. Al, maybe. Have you guys ever heard the story of George Brett at spring training where he talks about basically that?
I have not.
It's about 5 minutes. He's a coach at this point, and he's talking to all the young kids, and he's telling the story. He's in Vegas. He had too much to drink, and that happens. It is, and then at the very end, it goes, "So who's pitching today?" Oh, it's just it's incredible.
You have to own it. I mean, you just have to own those situations.
It
That's
happens.
what Kike's doing.
It's no fun. It happens.
It does happen, and so yes, it is fact, and it's in every situation. Like Trav was saying, anytime it happens, it is just a bad situation.
But by definition, doesn't this create a high stress situation?
That is the high stress.
It's not like you're relaxed and like, it's all good.
I mean, it's obviously happened. It's the worst feeling in the world. You got to throw stuff away. And you're like, you know what, God, you feel so bad about yourself. You're like,
I thought I was done with this.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not 2. I'm not in diapers.
I'm not 2 and I'm not 90.
Would
exactly.
Would bedwetting with someone else in the bed with you be worse, like at an older age?
Oh, Cappy has a great story about that, by the way.
Okay.
If you ever, I don't know if he's coming in today or
How
tomorrow.
did Ask Cappy go? I wasn't here for that.
It went well. He was good.
Did he tell that story on it? Him and his ex, that's how he met his ex-wife. Not met her, but that's like
I'm intrigued. That's a
where
good
it started.
tease, Berg.
The whole
people are into that.
situation with his ex-wife started there. It's such a great story. You got to go back and find it. Listen to the podcast for Sedano and Cap.
Al?
Fact. However, I will say this. I mean, listen, the high stress thing, I find it interesting because you're right about, no, that is the stress. But add to the element that there isn't a bathroom, let's say, hypothetically, or you're in a situation where it's a public setting.
Traffic.
No, that's
the great
the
fear.
stuck in traffic. I've heard some comedians talk about.
Who hasn't been there?
You haven't been there?
I have not been there.
And, as you get closer and closer to the...
You're looking for sides of the road that you can get to.
No, I've been there. We've all been there, but I haven't done what Kike has done.
Gotcha.
But that, to me, is... You're in traffic in LA. It's 15 minutes to get to where you need to get to. You can't wait. Nobody's moving.
You're stuck.
That's the high stress that you not only have that, but you also don't have an exit. You don't have a way out.
There's no option.
You're in the
that
number 3
is
lane,
the most
full traffic.
High stress situation.
And you're on
you can be
television
in.
in white pants, like on national TV, like Kike was, I'm sure. So
Wasn't that Paul Pierce's excuse?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was
That's
going
what
to
happened
say.
with
Yeah.
Paul Pierce.
Fact, there's never a good time for this. Just ask Paul Pierce.
All right, so a TikTok was going around, went semi-viral for this high school age child who decided to prank his parents by putting peanut butter over everything in their kitchen. So you know how in the office they did that one thing where he like wraps and wrapping paper everything on Dwight's desk? Instead of wrapping paper, it's peanut butter that he just spread everywhere in the kitchen.
It's a lot of
So-
How old of a kid?
It was like high school age kid.
Okay.
So, but this got me thinking, I absolutely hate pranks. So, you hate pranks. Berg, fact or cap?
Look at Travis.
He loves pranks. Trav
Me
loves
personally is it's whether I hate pranks.
You hate pranks is the statement.
Cap, I love pranks. I think that they're a lot of fun. I think if you do it in a nice way, it's
Trav
pretty
loves
cool.
them, too.
One of my favorite
Can't
pranks.
do them in a nice way.
Yo,
There's no
yes,
nice way to do a
absolutely
prank.
You can. Absolutely, you can. See,
Emily's right.
No. I know how you feel about pranks, and we had a whole thing about being in the back of your car. That you
Yep,
would have
for the
hated.
whole way down.
Try it.
And not saying anything the entire
Try it.
time.
I get a punch
No,
in the
that
face.
high stress situation might happen.
One of the best. I've actually done things to roommates before. So like you know how you have the white deodorant. You take out the deodorant. You put cream cheese in there.
Oh my god, they love that, I'm sure.
It's so fun.
What's the matter with you?
What? Who does that?
I did it. It was amazing. Are you kidding me? My daughter loves pranks.
It's a waste of good cream cheese.
And those people, your friends,
pretty good.
I'm
Yes, and
offended.
then they
That's pretty
try
good.
and do things to me. I mean, look, I think when
you
it's-
live in fear.
No, well, that's fun. Like the long game pranks are even the best ones. So yeah, I think it's cap. Pranks are great when they're done correctly.
Al?
I'll go cap, but
Thank you.
I want to put this more towards when I was younger, right? Like, you did prank. I'm not doing
Live a
pranks
little.
today, but back in the day, I'll use a prank that Cousin Slee did on me when we were both like 10, 11 years old, something like that. I don't know why he thought this was funny, but it was kind of funny. I was sleeping, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and I'm tasting my mouth. I'm like, what the hell is that? There's cheese in my mouth. He put a
that's
piece of
better
cheese,
things than I thought.
a piece of cheese in my mouth, and it just kind of slowly melted because it was in my mouth. And he thought it was the funniest thing he's ever done at age like 10, 11, whatever we were. And
I
to
would've
this
laughed.
day, I still remember it, and I'm saying to myself, you're an idiot, but that's kind of funny. At that age, you can do stuff like that. I should not be doing that at 38, 40,
Except
50,
to John Ireland.
something along those lines.
But that's
well,
payback.
that's payback. Yeah, that's a completely
I'm with
different thing.
Alan.
John
Yeah, that's-
Ireland did it. Mason did it. Like the pranks are fun.
I like the Cousin Slee prank because then you at least get to eat the cheese.
Yeah, I'm
Not
like,
like
what?
Bergman wasting good cream cheese in a deodorant canister. That's
Just get a little Philadelphia cream cheese,
that's
throw
true.
it in there. It's good.
No, I they're stupid. Whatever the answer to
Do your
their stupid
boys? Do your
is.
boys do
It's
any?
fact.
They may do them to other people. They don't do them
No,
to
not
me.
to you, but it just in general.
Hide
They
your
doing it
peanut
to their
butter.
buddies.
I
Michael
don't-
doing stuff. High school.
They're high school dummies, or in Bobby's case, a little bit older than that. But they do stupid stuff to each other. Yeah.
Did you used to do it when you were in high school?
No.
Not even in high
I
school. None
hate
of that.
them. I hate them.
I'm on the
Always
same
have.
page, Trev.
Yeah.
Taylor?
Cap, I used to like pranks. I mean, in high school, I used to be a prankster, but not anymore.
Yeah.
It's,
I
Keep it
feel
going.
like
Keep it going,
middle
Taylor. Do it
school,
more.
high school. That's like the time.
yeah.
Do something to my office. Prank me. Please.
All right.
I think it's funny.
Stink bomb.
Prank
Stink
wars.
bomb. Well, no, stink bomb is a little too far.
Okay.
Because it smells
Oh,
bad.
that's-
Well, then it smells bad, and everybody's going to have to deal
But
with
it's
that.
funny.
I pranked you, stink
Well,
bomb. That's the
it
whole
has to
point,
be the
right?
right
Yeah.
prank.
It's funny to me.
But no, if it's only that's not doing it to me. That's
Put
doing
salmon
it to the
in
whole
his
office.
file cabinet or something. Just have it sit there for a while.
Put
But then
a
again, that's
stapler
to
in Jello.
everybody. Yeah, sure. That's
All right.
funny.
I got one more left for you guys. So I'm looking up at the spring training games going off, and there's a lot of mascots that are there. So this is something that I have where I just don't know how to interact with mascots as an adult. I don't know what I'm supposed to do because it's just a weird situation. So you don't know how to interact with mascots as an adult. Alan, fact or cap?
Fact. I do not. I don't think I knew how to interact with them when I was a kid, too. Like, I think I was scared of them. I didn't know it was the first
Hello,
time.
Sir, shake your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't know what to do back then. I don't know what to do now. Like, I wave, I this. I don't know. It's awkward all the way around. So, fact on that one.
Trev?
I'm with Al. We had Bailey in here with the Kings
No idea
mascot.
what was going on. And we were radio.
We've had Rampage in here on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, what do you want me to do?
And they brought him in, and they're like, be entertaining. I'm like, I don't know what to do with
talk.
it. I don't know what to do
It's
with
very hard to interact with. Like your kids, you take a picture or two with the mascot. Sure. I get it. I like mascots to be around and pick, but to interact with them, it's a question. I don't know what to do with that.
Berg?
Oh, no, it's Cap. I love hanging out with those guys. Bailey's
You
a lot
love
of fun.
mascots and you love pranks.
I don't know why you're saying it like that. I don't know why you're saying it like that. Just because you're different. We're
Yes,
allowed
I
to
am
be different.
different, yeah.
No, but Rampage is a really cool mascot. We saw him at the Combine last Saturday, and he was teaching us how to stretch and do a whole bunch of stuff. It's easy to interact with him. You don't have to talk with words. You can have.
So that time we were at SoFi and Rampage was there.
Great.
He was great, but again, I go back to this. I don't know what to do. Like I don't have, you know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to say? So what's the latest with your taxes? Like, I don't know the conversation.
How's the wife?
Going to get 15
mess
seconds
around
this
with them. It's fun. You guys live in fear.
And Taylor, to wrap us up?
Why can't they talk? We should let them talk. Would that be creepy?
But then it's going to be different voices for each person that's
That
portraying.
should be part of the job.
I'd rather have them talk.
A cartoony voice.
Well, so you'd rather be at Disneyland and hearing Spider-Man talk than hearing Mickey Mouse not say a word.
Exactly.
Correct.
Like the Mary Poppins at Disneyland. She was nice.
Oh, wait.
That's not really a mascot.
Just saying. This is a mascot, not a mascot character.
Where did that go?
She's a character.
Well, you talking about Mickey Mouse at Disneyland. I was thinking about the ones I like.
I like Mary Poppins.
I liked Mary Poppins. She
Don't
was
say it
very
like
nice. She was.
I'm sure she is very nice.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. Right. This was when the kids were young. A little bit different. All right. Dodgers getting ready to play again today. And baseball got something dead solid in the middle of the bullseye. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 7.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Oh, you all right?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
First fall of the day. Oh, it's on camera.
Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Don't forget that our inaugural Pickleball Madness tournament is just around the corner. Slee will be making his pickleball tournament today.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in Pasadena. So if you are in and around, you should drive by every pickleball
100%.
court. Try to find Al.
Honk.
So you'll be out there with too, Greg?
Yeah, I'll be out there.
Berg's out there. Jorge's out there. By the way, Ron Mitchell will say, hey, I heard you're playing next Thursday. I'm like, yeah, Ron's in for next Thursday.
Oh,
so now
good.
yeah.
Oh, excellent.
So I'll be perfect.
I think he's a regular.
As basically Trevor Hoffman during the softball
He won
game
the game
and
for
close
us.
it out.
He won the game for us.
Yeah.
Ron was the MVP.
By the way, AK says he's going to try. He thinks he's going to be able to make it, but he's not positive.
March 18th, 10 a.m., 4 p.m. That's when we're going to be doing our inaugural Pickleball Madness tournament at the Agape Pickleball Center. That is in Fountain Valley at Miles Square Park. Reserved seating is available. You can register at ESPNLA.com. The event, of course, is open to the public. So you can come on and hang out with us, have a drink. There's a beer garden. There's a kid zone. There's a DJ. There's food. There's music. There's pickleball if you want to do that. There's a million things going on. You'll have a great time. There's TVs to watch all the college basketball. You will have a great time, I promise. So come on out and join us for that coming up March 18th in Fountain Valley. So I took an informal poll of all of us here.
I was undecided.
you abstained.
I was
The only
abstained.
reason I stayed was to hear this story.
Emily gave it a thumbs up. Taylor, I'm going to ask you because you made a pit stop during the break. Greg was a firm thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Emily's first story about the Kike Hernandez having an accident during a baseball game reminded me of a time that I've had a similar situation. Should I tell the story or not?
Yes.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
So
3-1. We win.
We're on vacation in Avila Beach, me, my wife, and my three
Right below
children.
San Luis Obispo.
Right just south of San Luis Obispo. And there's a little course, Avila Beach Golf Course is...
Seen a concert on that course.
Okay. Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The hotel we're staying at is on the beach, and to walk to the golf course takes 15 minutes. It's not far. But you walk on this road that is basically barely wide enough for two cars to pass each other. There's not a lot of room. And it's the only way because it goes over a creek, so you have to go over this road. Early in the morning, I'm going to go play golf before everybody gets up. I'm getting 9 holes before, and then we'll go spend the day together. Put my golf bag over my shoulder. I start walking over. I'm walking over this road, and all of a sudden, I'm in trouble. Like
you need to go. You need to go.
Nothing you can do.
I'm in trouble. I look back. I'm almost halfway between the golf course and where I started my walk. There's no I can get to where
You can't run to one or the other.
I couldn't run a step or I was dead meat, right? So I'm on the side of this road, and on one side is a mountain that just goes straight up, and on the other side is the other part of the mountain that goes straight down.
So you can't even go.
There's nowhere.
hide.
There's nowhere to go. Okay. I leave my golf bag literally in the middle of the road. Again, it's barely wide enough for two cars to go by. I kind of sort of crawl down the downside of the mountain.
It's amazing.
It happens. Okay. I have my golf towel. Thank goodness.
Did you actually
Yes.
instinctively take the golf towel?
Of course.
Oh, boy.
Of course. Okay. Now, anybody that plays golf towel, not great.
No,
Okay,
no. I'm sure that's not been washed in quite some time.
Not great. Whatever happens, happens.
Yep.
Now I have a decision to make. Do I go home and call it a day? Or do I continue on to the golf course? I continued on to the golf course.
What'd you do with the towel?
Left the towel, and it's still there as far as I know. It's still on the side of the mountain.
Biodegrading.
I get to the golf course. I go to the bathroom to try to clean up. And when I get in there, I'm like, yeah, this is going to work.
Did you have to?
And now I have to walk all the way back home.
Oh, bad decision.
And it was... there are more
Sounds
details
amazing.
that I'm leaving out.
Did you go back and go play again that same day?
I was just...
I'm going to go back, change, go back, play
I
some
think
golf.
God said, you're done today. You're done.
I went
Call it
home,
a day.
and by the time I got home, people were starting to wake up. Let's go to the beach. I'm like, I'm
going to need 20 minutes.
I'm going to need a little bit of time to figure out what the rest of the day is going to look like.
Need to take a shower, need to relax
It was a lot. It was a lot. Runs... That's an odd choice to start with.
That's where you start.
I actually didn't know if you were going somewhere else.
Let me start again.
Yeah.
Batting averages. Batting averages and runs have both spiked noticeably in the early part of spring training. Okay, both are up by a significant amount. Nothing crazy, but they're way up.
What are we, 5 days in or so, something
like that?
10
days.
Spring training's been already?
The game started on Saturday.
Right,
Yeah.
but they... According to all of the data that they're tracking, inter squads and all these things, guys are getting more hits.
Okay.
guys are scoring more runs. Game times are way down.
It looks like probably you're almost shaving close to a half hour.
2.5 hours.
You're getting like a
half hour is a lot.
You've got more hits, more runners on in less time. Isn't that exactly what we were trying to get done? That when baseball was dealing with the shift and guys stepping out of the batter's box and guys stepping off the rubber, the whole problem was we have longer games where less happens. The rule changes that they made, it's a bullseye. It's a 10 out of 10. More hits, more runs in less time. They got it. When's the last time we could say they got something exactly right?
What if
baseball? Rob Manfred? Never.
What if I told you I think the NBA is going to copy something from baseball?
What?
Which never happens, right? You know how baseball started doing the extra innings, have somebody on
the
second.
Elam ending?
Yeah, you hear about this? Eric Pincus was reporting this in Bleacher Report. That
the target score?
Target score.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I bring that up is because the NBA, here's the NBA, right? And a lot of it feels like the NBA, we're going to try things. Some of them might work, some of them won't. Baseball is the opposite. We're not going to try things. We're not going to know whether it works or it doesn't. Here's baseball all of a sudden trying something different. And to have some of that kind of positive, nobody is going to say what you just referenced to. You're going to play a game faster. There's going to be more action. You're going to have less time to take your eyes off of what's happening, and a half hour is going to get shaved off that clock. More offense, the whole thing. It actually is a compliment to a sport that in the last couple years feels like, guys, I know this is the way it used to be. Moving forward, let's stop with this. This is the way it used to be.
When you were describing that, Slee, it's funny. Like the idea of, I got to see this. I can't leave my seat because another pitch is going to be thrown. There's already guys on base. Like before, if you go to a Dodger game,
it's not usually associated.
It's
with
like
baseball.
I can go get a beer whenever I want.
100%.
I don't care if there's 10 people in line. I'm not going to miss anything. Now it feels like I got to pick my spot to go do this because I might miss something. That's the whole point.
That's basketball and football.
Yeah, you
Yes.
are gonna miss something because now when guys get on base, which you're already saying, there's gonna be more guys on base. They're gonna be stealing bases. There's gonna be rundowns. There's gonna be pickles. There's gonna be a whole bunch of things that you wouldn't have seen over the last 10 years, 15 years. That is now going to be.
It's exciting.
It's gonna be so much
Yeah,
better.
it's
and
exciting.
By the way, the Elam ending doesn't make any sense for basketball to do this because it's 5 minutes. It's not taking this massive amount of time.
No, but
overtime.
it ends the game.
And-
Right?
and what's more exciting?
Double overtime.
Yeah,
It gets rid of all
I get
that
it,
stuff.
but it happens so rarely.
It does.
But just
it's 5 minutes.
You're right. It's 5 minutes, but it actually makes it more exciting. I'm telling you. And I don't know what score they're going to have. We were talking about this in the pre. Michael and John. I don't know if they're going to do first one to 10. I don't know if you reset the score at 0-0 and it's first one. Whatever it is,
it's all the same.
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Kind of cool. I'm in.
I don't hate it.
It's fine. I mean, it's 5 minutes. I don't need it to be changed.
What the
personally.
number should be, by the way, if we're kind of, what's
11.
a good number? That's not
Pickleball.
bad. I was
Yep.
going to say the same. I was going to say 7.
Mm-hmm.
That you
It might be a little low,
but it could be. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
It could be over in as quickly as 3 possessions. It could be over in 3.
I actually
you
think
miss 3. You miss. I lay up. Game over.
I actually think it will be 11 or 7.
Yeah,
11.
7.
I think 11 is the right
11 or
number.
7.
But 11. So
11 is a lot of points in
it's a
overtime.
lot
Just so
of
you know,
points.
it is. It is a lot of points in
which
overtime.
is why 5 minutes is fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even 7. If 7 is still, if 7 is 4 less than the 11,
And the
if
argument
that's a lot.
The argument I was trying to
But it
make
could
was
be potentially 7 less than that because
Yeah.
if it's 7-6, that's 13. Or I'm assuming you'd have to win by 2, whatever it is. But
Sure.
if both teams are near 11, that's 20 points. That's a decent amount of points to have to happen.
And the argument was less whether the NBA should do it, but I feel like the NBA is taking a page of a concept that baseball started in extra innings.
Right, which is, and I'm glad that it's staying in baseball where the runner starts on second. That is, I've actually enjoyed it. I want to watch it now more often. It's
more
better.
runs, more hits, less time,
more action,
more action.
Yep. It's we hammer people for getting stuff wrong. They got this exactly right, and it's one of those things too. Don't be afraid to try something.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this could have been a disaster in an alternate universe, right? Then get rid of it.
Yep.
Go back to you don't have to. What about what Joe DiMaggio did? Who gives a damn?
Well, can I give you? Can I give you?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been too much of that in baseball, but I agree. Anyways, it's heading in the right direction.
More Lakers, more Anthony Davis, and more Kyrie. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 7.
We go. It is Travis and Sliwa for your lunch hour. Reacted to the Lakers' huge win last night in OKC. Plus, pickleball fever is upon us. Is it true that Slee is practicing pickleball today?
Plus, doing some pickleball with Jorge and with Bergman. Travis has been playing all the time. This is going to be my first time playing. I don't know how the heck it's going to go, but I'm looking forward to it.
I know there was some drama with Clinton Yates. He's going to practice with corporate Greg and producer Jorge, but then chose Mace. Such drama over pickleball practice. Meanwhile, let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your lunch hour right now on 710 ESPN.
I don't think it was so much the pickleball. It's that he just left you guys hanging.
Yeah.
It's not that he decided he would get a better practice.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, but we committed already.
Yeah.
You know? I get the geography of it. I get it's a lot easier down there. It's just you're our fourth.
Yeah, don't say. Or, guys, I if I can, yeah, but you might want to find a fourth because that's kind of a haul for me to get over there.
Well, here's the thing. We found a fourth. AK in the house.
I mean,
Hopefully.
he's closer than Yates,
hopefully.
I guess. I didn't know.
Next week, a week from today, we'll do our thing.
We're going to do it here or somewhere around here?
I was going to say, remember I mentioned the court in Pasadena? It's like 15 minutes away.
I'll do that.
All right, so.
I'll do that. I got some spots over there that I can hit after for food. I got a couple of
Most important.
Right.
Hey, that's not far from your...
That's my backyard.
Yeah.
That was home for me for a very, very long time. Somebody's telling me to listen to the George Clooney story on Smartless about, my God, there's something similar going on.
One of those?
I've heard it, and it's very funny. And it's worse. His is worse, but very, very funny along the way. We've obviously spent most of the day out talking about Anthony Davis, talking about that he did not play last night. There were...
the predicament around it.
There's just a couple of different explanations as to why he didn't play, and they don't really line up together, which leads to a whole nother round of speculation along the way. There was another story that was out there yesterday that the Luka Kyrie thing is a very temporary thing, right? That Kyrie still has expressed his desire to reconnect with LeBron James to play for the Lakers. We know that LeBron loves Kyrie.
Yeah.
We know that he was it with Wilbon, where he said, I was disappointed that didn't go down, which was...
Might have been Wilbon, yeah.
Yeah, it was odd, right, to just be that frank about it. It was refreshing, but it was unusual. And until Kyrie is signed to a long-term deal somewhere else, the speculation is going to continue to be around.
He'll be a free agent this summer.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen.
And add in the fact that Anthony Davis is unavailable frequently, I guess is a charitable way of putting it. You'd still kind of have those conversations floating around the team about is the future LeBron, AD, and others, or is it LeBron, Kyrie, and others? Is it all three of them? But the Kyrie-LeBron reunion in L.A. still has a heartbeat.
So, a couple things. First off, I don't think it would be LeBron and Kyrie. AD would be that part of that big three mix, however you want to call it. I will tell you from the trade deadline that happened and getting a chance to see all these players play together, depth is becoming more and more. A team is becoming more and more, I think, a vision that most Laker fans are getting more and more comfortable with. Now, you can sit here and try to make an argument, and the argument can be if in the summer, let's say the Lakers never really got a chance to make the playoffs. Let's say LeBron, we got that news a little bit earlier, is going to be reassessed in 3 weeks. They're going to reevaluate LeBron James in 3 weeks. Let's say they never really all get a chance to play together, and we don't really know what it could have been. And then the question mark in the offseason is you don't really know what that was. You got literally no sample size because you can't call 2 games, 5 games. You got no sample size to see what that is versus go get Kyrie. I'll be the first one to tell you that I was when Kyrie, the news came out that he wanted out of Brooklyn, you and I were doing the show when that happened. And I was saying, bring Kyrie in. Mm-hmm. Having got a chance to see some of the pieces that they got, having got a chance to see how the more LeBron gets older, Anthony Davis in and out of the lineup, how important it is to have a season where maybe you don't have to depend as much on the superstars because you got other role players. I'm okay with them building with what they got over go get Kyrie, throw it all in the mix and try it. But that's me sitting here today. That's how I would feel. But the Kyrie thing can happen. You're not wrong on that. That could definitely still happen.
What you just described is analytical and logical and follows a pattern. The Lakers have not done what logical, analytical, follow a pattern since they won the championship. right? That since they've won that championship, it's kind of been, well, let's try this. Nope, didn't. Okay, let's go over there. They won a championship and blew up the team. It was, and then they came back the next year with a bunch of older guys. That didn't work. You come back the year after that with Russ. That didn't really work. And then you have this season where you had the beginning of the year where the roster really didn't make much sense to anybody. And then
too many guards, not enough wings. Russ still there.
You put this together, and to your point, who knows? Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It hasn't been on the court.
But this was Plan B,
yeah,
right? Because if the Brooklyn Nets decided they were going to trade Kyrie to the Lakers, Kyrie would have been here.
And so I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what LeBron's input in all of this could be, right? Because if LeBron comes in and says, "Look, I love Jared Vanderbilt and Malik Beasley and Rui and all these other guys, but
trade them,
go get me correct. Go get me or Kyrie. Go get me my guy." They probably will.
Yeah,
they probably will. And I'm like, be unbelievable to watch for good reasons, bad reasons, talk show reasons, all the above. It would be amazing, but that it's not dead out. The longer that the rumor exists, the more likely I think it is to come true.
So the only reason why it's not dead is because I don't think it was going to be dead unless Kyrie and Luka were working great.
We're killing it, yeah.
And Kyrie was deciding, guys, I kind of want to be here long term. I like that I'm not in Brooklyn, or I like that I'm not in LA. I like that I could be in a market that is not as glamorous as some of these big markets, but it's gone the opposite way, which I think will create more of those rumors as we go.
Let's try a phone call here. Let's go to Adam in Los Angeles. Adam, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Adam?
Oh.
Adam,
you there, bud?
Hey.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
I'm here.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, I got
I know what's going on here.
I'm not Adam. I'm Harvey from Long Beach.
Hi, Harvey.
Oh, that's on us then. That's on us. Harvey, I apologize.
Where did Adam go?
I got no problem. Let's move on. I got a couple of things about this. One, isn't Kyrie a free agent?
He'll be a free agent at the end of the season. Yep.
Yeah. So if they want to sign him, they could sign him. Why don't they play Cole Swider? Why don't they play Cole Swider and Scottie Pippen Jr. more? It's two spots that they need, and they're both well-coached players. I don't understand. And the more you look at their numbers, you freak. They can produce.
It's yours.
Oh, you want my takes on Cole Swider?
Yes.
Look.
Too young, buddy. Just too young. That's it. And there's plenty of other guys there that they'll play in front of them.
The guy that's been, I think, a revelation, and he was great again last night, has been Reeves. Reeves is...
He's a baller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Every time you watch him, you're like... Because at first you're like, oh, it's kind of cool. He's better than I thought. And then it's... he's a lot better than I thought. To, is he good? To, he's good.
Or no, how about this? How about there are times you're watching the game and you're saying, why isn't Reeves in?
Yes.
Is that not a good example of a player that has production?
Last night was when he had the little up and under, right? Which was just a great play.
Beautiful.
Just a beautiful, beautiful play. And it wasn't like jump off of your couch like, I can't believe I just saw Austin Reeves do that. It's like, yeah, that's a nice play. Mm-hmm. Which takes you to a different level. You're not shocked when you see something like that they're going to need to find more people, especially whether it's Swider or Pippen or whoever. They're as shorthanded as it could possibly be. D'Angelo is maybe targeting
out tomorrow,
this weekend.
Targeting Sunday.
Sunday, okay, targeting. Take that for what it's worth. Anthony Davis is Anthony Davis, so hopefully he plays, but take that for, I don't know if he will or he won't. They're going to need everybody.
Can you play this for me just to do it for the sake of doing it? 19 games left. They went 2-1 on that road trip. The only reason I mention it, there are a lot of teams in front of them keep losing. It's really it's kind of fascinating to see how bad a lot of these teams are. Utah lost to the Spurs at home. Blazers lost 4 of 5, and they lost yesterday to the Pelicans, who have also been losing. Let's say Anthony Davis and D'Angelo Russell in these final 19 games play 16 each. Take off the back-to-backs, take off another game here and there. D'Angelo comes back. The only reason D'Angelo's missed 4 in a row because he turned his ankle in the first game coming back from the break. If they play 16 games each and you got all these role players there, they miss three more the rest of the way. They're in the playing tournament, I think. I think they're in the playing tournament.
The setup, I can't buy it. Mm-hmm. I don't. Anthony Davis might play in 3 of the next 16. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Nobody does. That's my point. I'm not.
We know Bron's not there.
Yeah, but I'm done with the if Anthony Davis blanks. I don't know, man. I'm done. I'm not even going to play the game of, well, if he's there and if he this, that's, and the other. I don't know, man.
But we did that at the All-Star break.
I understand. I've hit the tipping point. I'm done. I hope he plays. I hope he plays well. D'Angelo Russell, I expect to play 16 of the remaining 19 games. I don't know, man. I'm just
played.
So
he
over
played
it.
in every one until yesterday, and we did it at the All-Star break.
It wasn't just that, Al. It was the entire confusing mess surrounding.
I know.
It wasn't just that if they had come out yesterday prior to the game and said, look, he's not playing tonight because we decided a couple weeks ago he's not playing. All right, I don't like it, but I get it. If he had said, hey, listen, he woke up in the middle of the night and his foot was bothering him. It turns out he twisted it in the second quarter. Okay, I buy it. But he's 100% pain-free, but he's got a foot thing, and it was scheduled a long time ago, but it wasn't scheduled a long time ago because the head coach said that everybody's playing and even back-to-backs. There's just so many conflicting stories. I've punted on it.
So you think they're in?
I've punted. I don't know. I hope so. I am adopting the I'm going to watch them play on Friday night against the Timberwolves. I'm going to be hoping that they win the game. But beyond that,
and
I
then
have no
take it to Sunday,
exactly.
and then take it to.
I have no expectations.
That's fair.
I have expectations for D'Angelo. I have expectations for LeBron hopefully sneaking back in before the end of the line because we found out
right
that he's
foot
going to miss some
tendon
time.
injury will be reevaluated
Sounds
in 3
painful,
weeks.
by the way.
Awful.
Have you ever had plantar fasciitis?
Yeah, I did for a short period of time.
It hurts, man.
I feel like I don't even know how to describe them. What's going on here?
It feels like your foot's going to crack in half.
Your foot's going to crack in half.
That's what it feels. And it kind of gets better throughout the day if you walk a lot and move a lot. But the second you stop, it feels like your foot's going to crack in half again.
Okay, so we've all done this before. You see Dennis Schroeder turning his ankle right there? I don't know if you saw it yesterday when it was happening live. That happens to me. I'm out 6 to 9 months. That dude took a timeout, came back in, and played the rest of the way.
Got up and continued to play.
Sheesh.
Huh, imagine that. Imagine that. It's the snake draft. Coming up next, it's Trav and Slee, 17. All right, we're reminding you that Pickleball Madness, or March Pickleball Madness, is coming up on March 18th at Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. It's free for all non-participants, and there's a million things to do, Al.
All right, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Come out, hang out. We do these events every time we do them. We love having listeners there. We got our Pop-A-Shot Challenge. We got a beer garden going on. So we got everything going on. Don't forget that day.
Games for the kids. Bring the kids on out. It'll be a great time. You'll watch me and Al just wipe the floor with everybody because we're pickleball experts.
We'll be out in the first round.
gets picked, Taylor?
I just like the song.
Okay.
It's MASH, by the way, if people don't recognize the theme song.
180 zillion people watch it.
Exactly. So, welcome to the most rewatchable TV shows draft. I'm the commissioner today. The order at which we pick, it's going to be a snake draft, and it's going to start with Alan. So it's going to go Alan, Travis, Taylor, Emily again. This was randomly generated. Did not preference myself. Then Taylor, Travis, and Alan again.
Sounds shady as hell.
And we have 3 picks each.
Yep.
So we're going to have 12 in total.
So basically, any show that if it's on TV, you're like, hey, I'm stopping right here. Shows that you watch all the time, doesn't matter what's going on, or you go out of your way to rewatch.
And it's enjoyable to rewatch.
Yep.
You go out of your way.
You've seen it a million times and you watch it.
And you watch it again.
Right, exactly. So,
Okay.
for the first pick, it's going to be Alan.
I'm on the clock. I have 4 minutes to decide, so just so you guys know. No, but you have the first pick. Okay, so I had a difficult time between a couple shows here, but to have the number 1 pick, this is, I think, my favorite show of all time. I could watch it at any time. The Office is just one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. I don't care when it's on. I don't care if I'm going to rewatch it. Give me Office with my number 1 pick in the draft.
It's a good answer. It's a really
Good choice.
by the way, that was the one on the back of your pad that I saw that
for
whatever reason I didn't have it on mine. It absolutely should have been, but good answer. Same exact logic that you're talking about. I think that comedies are, for me, a little bit more rewatchable than some dramatic things. I got I'm going to get a drama in here for sure.
Yeah.
But something that I know every joke. They're still funny.
Yep.
I know it's coming. It still makes me laugh. I love all the characters.
With the second pick in the draft.
Seinfeld.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Taylor?
That one off my list, son of a...
Okay, I know Trav's going to be pissed that I take this one, but The
Don't do it.
Simpsons.
Oh, Taylor.
I can watch it anytime.
I almost took The Simpsons with my first one, but
And hope that it
I
came
would
back
never take
around.
Seinfeld, by the way. So
Yeah, you probably
messed up.
would have been okay to have it come back.
maybe Emily. I don't know.
No, I don't think
I've
she
never
would.
seen
Yeah, I
Seinfeld.
should have. Look, you guys are right. I should have waited.
Yeah, you
Coulda got 'em
valued
both.
it too high. You could have gotten the second round.
If you'd have had both on your list, it's ball game.
I could have got them both.
Okay. Excellent. So mine is going to be one that this show I came to later in life. It came to me also late in its run. It's one of the longest running shows, and it's still running. It's on FX. It's one of my favorite shows, and it's it's a show that I watch if I'm inebriated. It's a show that I can watch if I'm not inebriated. It's a show that bonds my friends together. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It is. I lived in Philadelphia for a little bit of time too, and it's an amazing show. It's true to the people, and it's so funny.
It's fantastic.
Big fan.
It's fantastic.
All 4 people took comedies.
Yep.
It's by far the most
Probably gonna be the
rewatchable genre.
theme here.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so this next one is going to be
You know, she gets 2 picks. Huh?
yes. So now here
This
for the
one over here.
Just random generator
Just
gave me 2 in a row.
random
I'm
generator.
Sure, no shenanigans at all.
So this is again going to be in the comedy category. It's a show that I watched from its inception to its completion. It is in the same vein of The Office. It is about you can hop in anywhere. Great characters, great beginning, great ending.
I think I know it.
Parks and Recreation
Yeah,
for the
she was gonna
5th
say that.
pick in the draft.
It's a good pick.
And those are my 2. So we're gonna go back to Taylor.
Wait, I thought you get 3 in a row. According to her
no.
draft, she goes 3 in a row.
Parks and Rec I really like. I like it a lot. I like almost all of the characters. Ron Swanson's an all-timer. If you just snapped your fingers and it was gone forever, I wouldn't be heartbroken. If you removed The Simpsons,
So it
and
was
Seinfeld,
not on my list,
yeah.
Parks and Rec.
And
but
like
I know
it.
that's one that
do
she's referenced
like
a lot.
it, but I could live without it.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Galentine's Day and treat yourself.
Like I said, it's really good. I
Do I
really
know?
like it.
Do I know what he's going with his second pick?
Do you, Slee? Do you?
Is it animated as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know where he's going.
King of the Hill.
Oh, okay. No, did not know
Yeah.
that.
I was
Did
gonna
not know
guess
that.
The Flintstones.
Tom and
I think
Jerry.
it encapsulates small town life so well. King of the Hill, yeah. Mike Judge, 2 Fox shows for me.
So King of the Hill, when it came out, I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And it didn't hit me. I didn't hate it, but I'm like, I don't get it.
Then you moved to Texas?
Bam. That's it. I moved. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Much funnier having been exposed to that particular type of guy.
Yep.
Because everybody in that show actually exists in one form or the other. I'm
Trav?
going drama. I'm going to go the first person that is taking a drama here. Very popular, very well received, smart. I think there's little teeny tiny nuances every time you watch. You're like, oh gosh, I missed that the first time, and I see it. It's not particularly funny. It's a period piece, which I like this era. I love the main character because he's kind of fun and interesting, but all in all told, a really bad guy. I love this decade. I'm going to take Mad Men and Don Draper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could watch that show. In fact, I watched an episode and a half yesterday. I really, really like that show. So
The Suitcase is one of the best episodes of TV ever.
You could almost, that's a great one for sure, but if you just like spun a wheel and kind of just picked one at random, I would sit there and watch it. I love that show.
All right, Al. You have
You
two
get
in a
two,
row.
All right, so these are my final two picks. I'm having difficulty here because I have three that are still on my list that I can choose from. Let me just get this one out of the way because I want it to be number 2. I just love the character. Al Bundy is probably the funniest character that I've seen in most TV. Married with Children is my number 2 pick. In a weird way, I grew up with Married with Children. I don't know how that's possible in my family's household, but we did. For my final pick that I'm trying to figure out here.
Plus, you get Kelly Bundy with that pick. She's fantastic.
Get Kelly Bundy.
She's
right?
fantastic. Great actor and really, really funny.
The final pick that I'm trying to figure out, does diners, drive-ins, and dives count as one?
100% counts. 100%.
Okay.
And you know why I hate that as an answer?
Yeah.
You know why I hate it?
Why is that?
It's great.
That's what I thought you saw on the back of my thing.
That's a great answer.
So my number 3 is diners, drive-ins, and dives. I could watch that. Maybe it's just because it's food. I love Guy Fieri. I think he's fantastic.
Guy who?
I just made up his last name.
Guy Fieri. That's the new guy.
No, I said Fieri, but I think that's wrong too, right?
It's Fieri.
Fieri. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just.
By the way, from this point forward, it's Guy Fieri.
You're mistaken, D.
Guy Fieri.
I didn't say
awesome.
Freddie. I said Fieri, and that was off too.
But Guy Fieri was your second try, which I like more.
His personality is amazing. I
He's
go
good
that my number 3.
You know, he's like the world's nicest guy too, by all accounts.
Big Warrior fan too. He's always at the games.
Huge Raider fan, and when the pandemic was going and restaurants are going out of business left and right, he gave away millions of dollars to all the people that worked in the restaurant industry. He's like a genuinely really good
Loves
dude.
football.
All right, that's my number 3.
He does.
Trav?
Damn it, Al. I hate that you got that. I didn't even think of it, but it's a great answer. So I have to decide whether or not I'm going to go with something funny, something kind of thought-provoking, or just something very, very personal to me. Okay? I'm going with the third thing. I have funny with Seinfeld. I have something thought-provoking and interesting in Mad Men. I'm going something that is Travis exclusive. Documentaries.
That's great.
I want my documentaries because I don't care what it is. I'm watching
pretty funny.
It is the very definition of rewatchable for me, where if it's on, if it's Fernando, great. If it's the 88 NLCS, great. If it's the World Series, great. If it's Kershaw, great. Doesn't matter. They had one on this morning when I walked in about the history of Dodger Stadium. I stood there like this for an hour, just staring at it. It's the documentaries.
You guys were prepping and you
90210?
paid no attention. Oh yeah, 90210 would
There's
have been a good one.
way too many of them that are bad. I love the show, don't get me wrong, but there were as many bad episodes in that show as there were good ones. Documentaries have a 100% or a 1,000 batting average.
All right, Taylor, your last pick.
Okay, I'm just going to base this off shows that I have actually rewatched and recently did this to a drama. I didn't know if it would hold up. I didn't know if I would like it the second time around, but Breaking Bad.
Great choice.
Dang it, Taylor!
I was surprised it wasn't one of your first two, Em. I really was.
Okay, so it wasn't one of my first two because it is so heavy.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I do, honestly, I watch it once a year. It's kind of like I say,
Really? Wow.
watch it, the whole thing, once a year.
I never went back and watched it. I liked it. I
It's
just never
worth
went
it.
back.
You get something new every time that you watch it.
I agree
And
with that.
it's so dense. It's so detailed. There are so many things that you miss. And even time I go back and watch it, I still get new things.
You know what I think?
Mad Men's like that for me.
Yeah.
I think it's also, maybe with some of these, that they're not connected and that I could walk into an episode of The Office and not really have to know what happened the episode before, what happened. And I'll use the same thing with Diners. I could just kind of aimlessly watch without having to
What
schedule
if you run
it.
into that vegan episode? Hate that. Because it's like every 10th episode is like, we're checking out all vegan places here on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. It's like, come on, Fieri, man. Go get me the greasy chili burger. That's what I'm here for.
And it gets you places that you want to go visit if you happen to go be traveling.
I'm down here in Dana Point. We're checking out a spot that's good and the most killer fish and chips that we've had in all of South Orange
not
County.
bad. That's
We're doing Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
That's not bad right there.
All right, so I'm picking the Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the draft. So I am stuck with the same predicament that you have, Travis. I'm going to go, do I go my personal rewatchable, or do I go something that I do like to rewatch and is very beloved by our listeners, very beloved by people in general, and it would be my only drama on my list.
You need a
and
drama.
I gotta round it out.
You got 2 comedies.
And I have a dramedy and I have a drama. So it's really hard for me to choose. I am going to go with Sopranos as my Mr. Relevant, and my close second, my honorable mention, is going to be Succession. I think it's because it's so
You don't
early.
get to pick 4.
And it's
You
not
don't get to
done.
pick-
This is my honorable mention. It's not done, so I can't say it's completely rewatchable, but it's comedy mixed with drama, and it's really good.
It is good. I like it too. The Sopranos, I think, is a better choice, Em, because I'm actually watching it now with Michael. He's never seen it before, so we're going through it, and it's terrific.
It's funny.
It's incredible. We were talking about that. It's funny without trying to be funny, which makes it even funnier. Succession, fast forward 10 years from now. I don't know if I need to see that again. It's good.
Almost too close
and
to
will
home.
it hold up?
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm excited. It comes the end of this month, right?
Yeah, so the season premiere for the final season of The Succession is going to be on the 24th of March. And there's a new trailer dropped today. Gosh, it looks so good.
Nobody took this show, but it's the definition of rewatchable for the simple reason that it's been on TV for 40 years and will probably be on for 40 more.
Cheers?
No. Law and Order.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that, to your
Only
point,
because I never watch it.
But to your point, you don't have to have seen any episode
Oh, yeah,
ever.
none
You
of them
turn it-
connect.
You just
Yeah.
turn it on, and
Yeah.
it's a little 40 minutes
Yep.
of controlled beginning, middle,
Yeah.
end. It's not my favorite show ever, but if I'm flipping around and I see, I'll watch that.
Will there be a show that people get angry at us that we didn't pick, like
yeah.
Ted last week?
100%. I think
Yeah.
that we left off, I don't know, we left off Cheers, Saved by the Bell,
Yep.
Community,
Fresh Prince.
Arrested Development,
I think I was the only
Fresh
Fresh
Prince.
Prince.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we left off. So if we did miss something that's your favorite, that you would pick number one, definitely tell us.
10 years ago, I probably would have had Reno 911 on there. I think just it's hilarious.
Survivor.
So
I love
good.
rewatching Survivor.
Really?
Oh, yes.
But isn't it like you kind of know who wins the challenge? I don't know the structure of the show very
But
well.
it's still fun because you miss some things,
Yep.
all the good stuff. It's fun to
Jersey
also rewatch
Shore.
with other people.
Fernando threw 8 shutouts in a row to open the season.
The Situation or Fernando? Taking the Situation.
How dare you?
All day long.
They're not hanging a Situations spray tan on the outfield wall at Dodger Stadium. But number 34, that's going up there. LeBron James got a little update on his health. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 7.
on 710 ESPN.
By the way, real quick, they got it wrong. People are saying that your impression of they're putting here Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
It's wrong. It's Guy Fieri. I added 2 T's.
Can we go back to the tape? I really want to see what you said first and second because I need to figure out which one I like more.
Well, which one did you think it was?
I thought you said Guy Freddy to
it's
start.
Not Freddy. I
Guy
said
Ferretti?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I definitely was something
It
like
is
that.
so on brand for you, Al, that it's terrific, and I love it because it's such a good choice for the draft.
And then I couldn't get his last name
got
right.
his name wrong.
Yeah. Still my pick.
The big one we missed
great.
was Curb. A lot of people are
That's
saying
what I was
Curb.
telling him.
Yeah.
And by the way, if I could actually go back, I'd have no problem putting Curb in there. And the question is, it probably goes in and takes Married with Children out.
Yeah, Curb was great. It's great. It's not super rewatchable for me. Like if I'm flipping through and I see one, I
that guy gets me. He's hilarious, especially because you took
but that's
Seinfeld.
Not the point.
That's I should have took that one.
But it is funny. He is hilarious. But that show is not super rewatchable for me. I liked it, but I don't know. I don't stop on it, I guess is the answer. I just kind of keep it moving. This guy gets me more than anybody. This is from Steve Madden. Tell Trav that if he stops in Arcadia, I've got Taco Lito on the house. Do you guys have a restaurant like this? So there's this little taco place in Arcadia called Taco Lito. It's been there at least 50 years, maybe 60. It's not very good. I go every time I go through Arcadia because it has like this very strong...
Overhyped?
No, it's just nostalgia. That it's where we would go in high school at the end of the night. It was where you'd go, after practice, baseball practice. You'd swing through and grab... It's not bad, but there's literally nothing particularly special about it. And every time I go through Arcadia, I stop and get it. Do you have like one of those... Yeah, this isn't the best thing I've ever had, but just brings back good memories?
I don't know. Most of the time... Okay, here's a place. I don't know if this is going to count as one. Let me give you just an example here. All right, here's an example. The problem is they got multiple locations, okay?
Okay.
You've been to Rubio's before.
Oh, sure.
Right? Rubio's nothing great at all. Like, when I say nothing great at all, it's like it's not one of those places you're like, oh, my gosh, I'm getting a chance to go here.
Right.
Every time I freaking have it, I like put it up in this ranking of like, I'm going to Rubio's as if it's like a special meal.
Yeah.
Maybe that one as an example.
It's not bad.
So this might be more regional. I do think that they have one here in Los Angeles, but Sonic. I feel like everyone talks up Sonic so much. I go every time, and I'm like mostly disappointed. There's like 1 or 2 items I'll get. Like I like their mozzarella sticks and I like their like slushy things, but like in general, it's like a miss for me.
I think I've only had it once or twice. I don't have a strong opinion. I put it this way: I haven't sought it out.
Have I had Sonic? I might have never had Sonic in my life.
They have tots there, yes.
Yes, they have tots. They have like their thing though is
none.
their like limeades. They do.
Yeah, I haven't.
We didn't have them here for a while, and now I think there's some around.
Also-
I love Guy Fieri. I think he's fantastic.
Play it again.
Yeah, it sounded like Freddie. I love Guy Fieri. I think he's fantastic. Alan Fieri, man. Fieri.
Not anymore.
Guy Fieri, I think.
Not anymore.
We also missed I Love Lucy, which
Oh
is the
my
most rewatchable of all
God.
time.
The
Yeah, you're a
worst.
hater. It's fine.
The worst.
And there's one I missed, but yeah, I think I Love Lucy is funny. It's funny for the time.
Okay. I sure. I guess. I just did.
Oh, that 70s show, Malcolm in the Middle, was a suggestion from
70s show was good. Malcolm in the Middle actually wasn't bad as well, but it's not. I haven't watched them in a long time.
It's not Seinfeld. It's not that. One of those.
Curb
It's
is
not
the one I'm
Simpsons.
kind of a little disappointed I didn't pick.
Trav doing a Guy Fieri impression is the entertainment I needed. You're welcome.
Guy Fieri.
Well, this is from DJ Trunks, who says Trav does a hell of a Guy Fieri. Thank you.
The trend has begun.
Laker Country writes, Trav nailed Guy Fieri impersonation. You guys need to get the guy in studio and play that back for him. That would be hilarious.
I will call him Guy Fieri. You've done some great things in your career, Guy Fieri. Guy Fieri.
I got a confession to make. I stole that impression from Michael, my son.
Oh, really?
He does.
Michael legit at it?
It's amazing.
I think you stole it from Guy Fieri.
Well, Michael's like a really good mimic. Like he's very good at kind of making fun of the way that other people and finding those little things and kind of extrapolating them. So I basically did a bad impression of Michael's very good impression of Guy Fieri. So it's like a copy of a copy of a copy, only it gets worse along the way. LeBron James, here's an update on his injured foot. Through medical examination, it was determined LeBron James suffered a right foot tendon injury. The Lakers announced on Thursday he will be reevaluated in approximately 3 weeks. So we know what it is. It's a right tendon injury. We know the timeline-ish in that he'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks, but the word that jumps out at both of us, Lee, there is reevaluated.
Yeah. Reevaluate in 3 weeks and about 5 weeks left in the season. So if we're just kind of playing this out here, I'd be surprised. I'd take this as just a positive if we see Bron at some point the rest of the regular season, because it would mean a couple things. It would mean that the Lakers are obviously in the hunt, and the Lakers have decided, hey, let's bring this dude back because we got a chance to make the playoffs, and he's feeling good. Part of it also would be that Bron would have an opportunity to just kind of rest up and heal before you get into that playing tournament or before you make a run in the playoffs. But I think if you're depending on LeBron James to help you get in the playing tournament or the postseason, you should not depend on him to be a part of it, because he's not going to be. I mean, 3 weeks is enough to say, just to get reassessed, that's enough to say that that's over 50% of the remaining games that he's not going to be a part of.
He could be the difference to you getting out of the play-in. He could be the difference to you maybe scaring someone in the first round of the playoffs if, in fact, you can get out of the play-in. But I don't think he's going to be a factor in whether you get in or not.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be because Vanderbilt and Beasley and everyone else are really good. It's got to be because D'Angelo Russell comes back and not only plays but plays well. And then cross your fingers for Anthony Davis that you get some good basketball out of him. That big LeBron's not going to determine whether they get in or not.
Well, if that piece, what you just said here, the cross your fingers about AD, that's the other piece. If Anthony Davis is not there for 15 of these final 19 games, then we already have our answer. Now, that part of the good thing, I will just kind of mention
they
this.
They play crummy teams.
So they got, but it's kind of funny here.
Didn't you say they have the easiest schedule remaining in the league?
Yeah, it's one of the easiest schedules left in the NBA. What's crazy, you kind of go look at the schedule, and I think this talks to, I think we got to be very careful when we say, man, the West is stacked. No, it's not. If you have 13 teams still fighting for 8 positions or whatever the case is, it's not stacked. It means Denver's good, Memphis is consistent, Phoenix we assume is going to be good, and Sacramento, one of the more consistent teams in the NBA, without playoff experience. That's kind of it
I agree
now.
with you. I agree. And can we throw the Warriors in there?
We can, and I think for them it's just going to come down to their health.
Yeah.
If they're healthy, I agree with you that nobody's going to want to face the Warriors if they're the Warriors.
A couple of things. And I don't know if this is leading us to think that things are better than they are or whether it just doesn't matter at all. The only reason we're still having a conversation about the Lakers really is because the rest of the bottom 2/3 of the Western Conference kind of sucks, right? The teams that you just mentioned, those top 4 or 5, are pretty good to very good.
Everyone else is average.
Else, below, right? Mm-hmm. If everybody's about 500 or a game or two above or a game or two below, that's not very good. And the reason that, because what was it last year, the Spurs got in there 14 games under
14
500.
games below 500.
So the floor has risen a lot, but none of those teams that we're talking about, Portland, Minnesota, Utah, the Lakers, all of, you know who else we left out?
Pelicans,
of the Western Conference?
OKC.
It's pretty good. The Clippers. Clippers are good.
Are they?
Yeah,
I agree with you.
So.
Listen,
I think so.
I continue to say Clippers are going to be good. And every time I say that, let's use as an example tonight. Clippers play the Warriors in Golden State.
Okay.
Should the Clippers not win the game in Golden State when Steph Curry's not there?
Yeah, they should.
They should.
Yeah.
They lost to Minnesota in the last game.
They're a weird team.
They are a very weird team.
But they also are one of those teams that when they're firing, they're pretty darn good.
Okay, let's put it this way. If you said Clippers are going to play the Mavs in the first round,
I'd take the Clippers.
I would take the Clippers as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to say the Clippers are going to play the Timberwolves or the Jazz or the Pelicans or the Blazers, you take Clippers in all of them.
Yeah.
If I said Clippers are going to go up against maybe that's the interesting series, Clippers and the Kings. Maybe that's an interesting one.
I think I'd take the Clippers in that too.
I think 75% of people would.
Yeah. It's put it to you this way. The Clippers, I wouldn't pick them against the Suns. I wouldn't pick them against the Nuggets. I wouldn't
How about against the Warriors? Healthy Warriors?
No, not a healthy
Warriors.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. But there's only a handful of teams that I think they'll beat them.
how much talent they have.
The West kind of stinks. Like, you know, you have top heavy conferences.
Yeah.
And then you just have bad. The West is weird. They're like bloated in the middle. Like the middle of it, they're kind of like a middle-aged man conference.
East is top heavy. That's a good.
Yeah,
example.
the middle, they got a bad waistline. That middle, it's kind of bulging out in the middle. The top's fine. The bottom, you always have a couple of.
They have a lot of
teams.
standing pants.
They have. Yes. The Western Conference has a lot of standing pants. That's exactly right. I got nothing to add to that. The dump is coming up next, where there will be more standing pants on Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Good job, Em.
And
At least you didn't eat it like Mace. You're good.
All right, I'm talking to all 710 listeners right now. Let's start off with this. March 18th, it's a Saturday afternoon. Miles Square Park in Fountain Valley. That is where I am about to teach everybody a little bit about pickleball. And the reason is because you see my father here is a world champion pickleball player. And while I have never played pickleball, not one time in my entire life, I already got my own racket, which means I'm about to kick some you-know-what. So come on out and support. Be there. We'll all watch college ball games together, and we are going to win.
You are going to get, all three of you are going to get very sick of hearing me talk about this, how much I love the pitch clock. Wandy Peralta for the Yankees struck out a Padre hitter today in 20 seconds. In 20, we're going to play the entire at bat. Okay, here it comes. Wait, hold on, I got it right here.
Oh, a little quick pitch right there. Well, Wandy Peralta.
Quick pitch for the clock. How about that?
He got the 16 seconds there, or he's got the 12 seconds there, I think. And now Tucapita's down 2 strikes within 8 seconds.
Wow. Won't need no pitch clock.
He struck a guy out in 20 seconds, Al. Pedro Baez didn't throw a pitch in 2.5 minutes, and he completed an at-bat in 20 seconds.
You know, when you first told me that, listening to it changes my entire perspective because, you know, you can say that. I kind of get in my mind, oh, yeah, it took 20 seconds. But what do you mean it took 20 seconds? By the time the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher, he's not just firing it right away. He's firing it right away. And if you're at bat, you don't have a second to get out. You do this, what Nomar used to do, 38 different
jarring,
things.
Honestly.
It is.
It's basically, and this goes back to what we were saying a little bit earlier. The NBA and the NFL, typically, it's just smarter to wait for a break before you go do something. I'm going to go use a restroom. I'm going to go grab something from the fridge. Or if you're at the game, I'm going to go grab a beer, whatever the case is. That's not how baseball works.
No.
You get innings like this, baseball will work a lot faster as far as that entertainment goes.
Okay, I love it. I'm on record. I love it. That's almost too fast. That is almost, like Emily just said, it's a little disorienting. Like, he's almost midway through his lineup or his windup as he's catching the ball back from the catcher. He's just popping it from his glove to his hand again. That's really quick. But I dig it.
But I'm assuming part of his strategy too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And hitters, if Wandy Peralta continues to work at that pace, hitters will be getting in the box with their hand up to the umpire like,
give me a second.
I get time too.
Yeah.
The rule isn't we go as fast as he wants. The rule is we have to go as fast as we both want within the time constraints.
Yeah, because they have a clock too.
Yeah, they need to be in the batter's box, ready to go prior to the clock hitting 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the second you're in there, you better
it's game on.
Be ready to go. That's pretty great. It was today in 1962, March 2nd, 1962, that arguably the greatest feat in NBA history took place. Wilt Chamberlain dropped 100 on the Knicks. He dropped 100 points on the Knicks. They won the game 169 to 147. He was 26 of 63 from the field. And the thing that put him over the top, he made 28 of 32 free throws.
You know what's crazy to me is the 26 of 63 from the field.
Under 50%.
He could have.
Of course it was the Knicks, too.
He could have had.
But it was in Hershey, which is also weird.
Yeah.
He could have had 120 points. That Wilt.
You're right.
Listen, this is Wilt Chamberlain. There's every stat line you see of his. 26 of 52 would have been 50%, right? So, yeah, a couple more buckets. I know that sounds funny. But
right.
A 26 of 63 for Wilt, you're not looking at that and saying, oh, my gosh, that's unbelievable. He could have had 112, 115.
A couple of things to stick with this for a half a second. That there's no film of this really helps. That there's literally not a single thing to commemorate this achievement other than him holding up that little piece of paper that had 100 written on it. That's it, right? There's no television, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a radio call.
I don't think
Probably is, right?
I don't. Have you ever heard it?
Because it was in Hershey. I
Right.
think this is the whole thing.
Have you ever heard it?
I have not.
Nor have I.
I did halftime that game.
But I'm just saying that if that existed, I mean, you've heard Bobby Thompson shot heard around the world. We've seen Babe Ruth hit home runs. I don't think there's, and again, the NBA in 1962 was a relatively newish kind of league. What didn't have nearly the
tape
coverage.
delaying finals games with Magic and Bird
in the 80s. So this was 20 years before that. That's the first thing. The fact that there wasn't any record of it kind of adds to the mysticism of the whole thing. John Moran had 28 and a quarter the other night. I know that this is on the list of things that will never be broken. And I'm not saying that Ja is going to break it. We've seen Clay have 37 and a quarter. We've seen Ja have 28 and a quarter. And here's how it's going to happen if it's going to happen. It's going to be a player like Ja, okay, that all of a sudden has that quarter, just a super explosive guy like Kobe, who through the first quarter, he scored 27 points in the first quarter. It's like, holy smoke. And then he goes out in the second quarter and he drops 26. And now we're at 53 at the half.
Yeah.
Now we're going for it. Now I want to see what can happen. And you put up 20 more in the third quarter and you're sitting at around. We're going to try to make it happen. I'm not likely, but that is not on the never going to happen list for me.
So you hit on something that I think is the most important thing. Clay had 37 in the third. Ja had 28 in the third. And you're right that if it's going to happen, you have to have a taste for it early. So you have to. There's been some players. It was Kyrie had 41 and a half. Dame I think just had 40 and a half. This was recently, whatever the case is. That's the game that he dropped 71 or whatever he had. You're right that it has to happen at halftime. You have to be in a position where you're close to 50 and it's still a game. Because if you're up 28 at halftime and somebody has 48 points, they might not get that opportunity to do it, but that's interesting that you lay it out that way.
It almost has to be a game that matters for both teams, too, because if you just had a runaway, right, with just one guy's just having the night of his life, the opposition almost has to just do something super goofy to stop him from getting 100, right? But if I have to defend for fear of losing the game, like I can't triple team a guy or I'm going to lose the game.
Yeah.
It would be close, even if he gets 100 and loses, which the scenario that we're kind of talking about, that has to be a part of it as well.
The style of players, too. The Dame being able to step back and hit 27-footers, which is not Ja's game.
Yep.
It's got to be a guy that I get to the basket, I could hit threes, I can do
free
everything.
Throws.
Hit free throws.
You got to make your free throw. Wilt hit 28 in that game.
Wilt, 26 to 63. Pick up your game, Wilt.
Yeah. Take better shots. Better shot selection along
miss
the way.
Shots.
Today was the day also in 1965. So just 3 years after Wilt dropped 100, The Sound of Music came out. And I did not know this until earlier today. What are your favorites, Em?
I love The Sound of Music. It's one of my favorite. My family used to watch it, and it just is instant nostalgia for me. I know a lot of the songs, a problem like Maria, like all that good stuff. I haven't been to the Hollywood Bowl's sing-along version of it.
I know somebody who's been. I know somebody who's been 7 times.
I want to go though. I haven't been. But
That
I
would
wanna
be
go.
me.
Really?
I want to go.
Oh yeah, I can sing any song from The Sound of Music. What do you want to hear? When I'm with her, I'm confused, out of focus, and bemused, and I never know exactly where I am. Unpredictable as weather, she's as flighty as a feather. She's an angel, she's a demon, she's a lamb. She will pester any pest, drive a hornet from its nest. She will throw a whirling dervish out of whirl. She is gentle, she is kind, she is timid, she is shy. She's an angel, she's a demon, she's a girl. How do you solve a problem like Maria?
I have chills.
What else you want to hear?
You could actually sing too.
Yeah.
I had no
So
idea.
long, farewell, Avita.
Even I know that one. I know that one. That one's
well,
too
you
easy.
know my favorite things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do
that's
know my
easy.
favorite things.
Yeah, there's tons of.
What's the one?
Climb
where-
Every Mountain sucks.
Lonely
Every other
Gooder.
song is
What's
good.
the one when they're in the gazebo where the young girl sneaks out to meet the kid on the bike?
Edelweiss.
No.
What's that one?
That's the only song I know.
That's it.
16, going on 17, fella, fall in line.
Damn.
Caddy and careful.
It's so weird that you mentioned this because this is like Ireland's sweet
What
spot.
is
No, but I want to go. I want to go. I
And
haven't
what
been.
is the significance? It came out today.
Yeah,
like
65.
60s?
65.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And have you watched The Pacifier ever, John?
No.
So The Pacifier is a movie with Vin Diesel. You shouldn't go see it, but it's
Wait,
the
we
Sound
went
of
from
Music.
the Sound of Music to Vin Diesel?
Yep, Vin Diesel.
Sound of
I think
Music
these
is
songs
a-
are related,
Yes,
right?
The Sound of Music is a big part of the movie because he becomes the babysitter for these kids, and he's an ex-Navy SEAL. He's supposed to protect these kids, but he's also their babysitter. One of the kids is in The Sound of Music, but he doesn't know he's in The Sound of Music, but he's playing the I'm sorry, what's his name? The guy who sings that
Franz.
song. Is it?
Franz for 100.
No,
I don't
Were you talking about the bad guy? The
Yeah,
guy,
the
Rolf.
kid who's a Nazi. Yeah,
Rolf. Now,
Okay.
whenever Rolf comes on screen at the sing-along
They
at the
boo him?
Hollywood Bowl, no, everybody goes.
Right. So, like, Vin Diesel thinks that guy isn't in a movie, that he's just that person. And anyway, it's a part of the movie. But Sound of Music is in a big part of the Pacifier.
So was this something that you
started
with, like as a kid? Does this movie hit you right, or has this happened as an adult? Where
I
you
was
found the
in
music?
a production as a Ute.
You were?
But it was like a kid's play, and I
Okay.
just remembered all of it.
What was your role?
I was Colonel Von Trapp.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every
That's
In
his
a
world.
million years.
Wow.
Me.
That's great.
I can also do everything from Oklahoma.
I did not know you
Oh,
liked musical.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping across the plain, and the waving wheat can sure smell. You don't know this? Mason calls me Broadway
John.
I've heard you call him that before,
My
but I didn't
mama
know
loves
that.
why.
I know every time.
Michael accuses me of having jazz hands.
Well, I'm not going to lie. He's kind of right, because when you started singing, you got very peppy.
Yes.
You sat up very straight.
He was performing.
By the way, when I go to New York, I
Yep.
hit a Broadway show every time I go.
Michael, every time he talks about you guys are in New York, Michael's like, I'm not going anywhere. He's like, John
Is
is
it always
going
a musical?
everywhere.
Yeah, no. Like this last time I went to a show called Take Me Out, which is basically it stars Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy and Jesse Tyler Ferguson from
Modern Family.
Modern Family. It's the story of at the height of his power, when he pretty much was the prince of the city. If Derek Jeter would have come out as gay, how would that have gone? And it's
interesting.
And literally, the very first segment, first scene, 8 guys standing in the shower naked. Let's go.
Very, very specific.
That's what John did with his night off in New
With
York.
my one night off in New York, I walked in a bunch of naked guys.
I got a lot of questions. We're getting to them all in Super Crosstalk.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles.
KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM, Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk. Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
You know, this is why I come in every single day, get
Learn
excited
something
for
new.
Super Crosstalk.
Wait,
No
can I
idea.
talk about the Rewatchables draft?
Well, I was going to ask you about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I know the one you're going to say that we should have
West
put on
Wing.
ours.
Well, West Wing would be number one for me, but
Right.
I would have done what you should have done. I would have left it to the end because nobody else would have
look,
taken
John,
West
I already
Wing.
admitted I messed it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just move
But
on.
What
here's
number
one-
one?
Al had the first
Office.
pick. He had the
Office
Office.
was
which is a
number one,
solid
yeah.
choice. Strange, quirky fact. Steve Mason has never seen an episode of The Office.
I knew that.
Not a one.
I knew that.
Not a one.
Now
Everybody talks about it. I hear M.
Mace, will that change?
It's great.
Will that change?
No.
So, okay, but here's my question.
It's just not. Yeah, I don't know
Is
why.
it because
but
you're pretty certain you wouldn't like it, or it's one of these? I haven't seen it at this point. Now I'm just not.
It's kind of over.
Yeah.
Right. It's over for me. Like I went back and watched.
But it's not dated. Like you can watch it. It still
I
holds
went
up
back
really
and
well.
watched The Sopranos during
Doing
the
it right
pandemic.
now. Doing it right
And
now
it
with my son.
Holds
Amazing.
up great.
Amazing.
Okay, so there's a couple of shows that everybody else has seen that I haven't seen, and I'm wondering. You guys talked about one of them. I've never seen an episode of Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Neither have I.
Do you like The Office?
I do.
Then you'd love Parks and Rec.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I've also never seen an episode of Friday Night Lights.
The TV
Yeah,
show.
I haven't seen it
love
either.
Friday
I
Night.
never
I
have
haven't
either.
seen it either.
So
My
if
wife
I
is
was going to
crazy
go back,
about
Em,
that.
and
She like Riggs.
rewatch either one of those shows, which one would you pick?
Parks and Rec first. Friday Night Lights is really good because you have Connie Britton in the early days. You have Kyle Chandler also in the early days. But like it's very
Kelly.
heartwarming. That kind of thing.
Parks and Rec was good, but it kind of wore out.
Can
for
I
me.
give you
Amy
guys
Poehler
one that
one, right?
none of you picked, but I'm telling you, if you're ever looking, like you got nothing going, you're looking for something to watch.
I know this one.
This happens to me in hotel rooms all the time. On Hulu, they are rerunning every episode of 30 Rock.
Oh, it's
and
amazing.
I guarantee you, if you watch it, there will be 5 or 6 jokes that you didn't get the first
I
time.
told you this the other day. We were talking about 30 Rock because I just watched a handful of episodes. There's at least one and frequently more than one NBA jokes in every episode of 30
It's also
Rock.
packed full of jokes.
It's,
So-
it's joke.
Jen
joke.
Krakowski is the one
She's
that
amazing.
out of left field will
she's
just drop.
just
She goes, well, I was once dating 7 NBA players at once, and it was hard, but I mixed up the Sunday and the Monday guy. But then I just had a threesome. And then they just move on to the next joke.
And there's a Gary Busey joke in almost every episode with Jenna's dating Gary Busey. It's
I thought you were going to say Curb.
Well, Curb is the
great.
best.
I should have put Curb in
comedy
my
ever.
top 3.
Like, Curb, if Curb's
That
on,
should
I
have been
never
my
turn
top
it
3.
off.
See,
They
I
don't
love
rerun
Curb.
a lot of Curb on HBO.
I love it. I think
It's all
it's
available,
on-
by the way, on
it's
HBO Max.
Is it HBO Max?
Yeah.
I loved it. I look forward to seeing it, but it's not something. I'm the opposite of you. If I'm going through it and I see it, I might come back to it, but I'm not stopping.
The
Or
other
if
one,
it's
the other
Seinfeld,
one I
I'm
stop on
stopping.
that no one else stops on that I noticed jokes I didn't notice the first time is 2.5 Men.
It never hit me right.
Yeah, I never got that one.
Yeah. What about you, Mace? What's the one that if you're flipping channels and you land on? I'm watching this.
Let's see. Probably 30 Rock.
30
Rock is great. It's always good. You can tune in for any one episode. You don't need to have seen anything else that's
they're all
happened.
kind of standalone.
Yeah,
That
they all
helps.
stand alone.
That helps.
But
for
you know what? I
rewatchables.
don't rewatch things. I'm like, I saw it once, and there's all this new stuff. Why am I going to go back and rewatch something, especially something that's 5 seasons long?
You know what I like about that though is especially if you're trying to do 2 things at once, you have something on in the
You can
background.
half watch it.
Because
Yeah.
if I'm trying to Susan and I are watching Yellowstone right now.
Okay,
love it.
You love
You
it.
gotta
But I
ha-
need-
it's got to give you your full
I
attention.
need to pay attention to it.
Beth.
Beth is
Beth is a
character.
piece of work.
Awesome character.
Yeah.
But I got to watch it. Whereas if Seinfeld's on in the background, I know the joke without actually having to hear the joke.
Can I just say I know nothing about Yellowstone except I know Beth.
She's nuts.
Beth is
Yeah,
crazy.
It's a great character.
You know what made his top 3? Would be very, very surprising here. Dodger documentaries, right?
Oh, Dodgermentary.
Dodgermentary.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm that way with Backstage Lakers. Like
Yeah.
I know the guy who produces Backstage Lakers. It's a guy named Michael Koger.
He's awesome.
Yeah, really good dude.
Great guy.
And he's just really good at his job. And if you told me, here's 100 episodes of Backstage Lakers, I could
You're
watch
in.
them all.
Same thing for me with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Same thing for me. That
You can't get past Fernando.
If there was one, so this TV right here is on Spectrum, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's on the Dodger Spectrum, and I came in this morning, and it was a Dodgementary on the history of Dodger Stadium. I walked over there, turned the sound up, and I watched it for
Yeah.
half an hour.
Yeah.
It's terrific.
I
love
like
having
when they
that
go
stuff
back
in.
and they say like 10 greatest plays by Shaq, and there's always John Ireland, and there's always Ramona Shelburne.
Yep,
The
Ramona's
cams
in
are
there.
regulars.
The cams are regulars. It's like but
Michael's on there.
Those things are
You know what else you
timeless.
get? You know what else you get a little bit of?
What?
Little Roger Lodge.
Yes, that's
You get a
right.
little Roger
Well, it's
Lodge in
funny,
there.
like people that have been kind of persona non grata for a while. Like after Dave Miller got fired, you notice less and less. Like they went back and edited it.
I heard
out.
they mutually agreed to part.
They usually do.
That's what you heard, huh?
Yeah, that's what Dave told me.
All right, so I'm changing the subject here a little bit. John, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. You missed Mace yesterday, who came in very dressed very
I was really
nicely.
I had a Shannon Sharp sweater
You had
on.
a sweater. You had like a fashionable
Kyle Kuzma
T-shirt.
full-length sweater.
Yeah.
Nice shoes.
Yep.
You had on a pair of non-sweatpants
Non-sweatpants, yeah.
And you said you're turning over a new leaf, and yet here you are in
Pickleball
sweatpants and a
practice
hoodie.
today.
Well, he
Pickleball
did
practice
say
today.
sweaters are still staying in.
Hoodies are still standing.
By the way,
Or
if
hoodies,
you-
yeah.
But we're going to play pickleball this afternoon.
So
Me
this
and
is
Clinton in Santa Monica.
a comfort choice? Or,
No, this is I'm getting
what's-
ready
what's
to
a
play
pickleball.
some
It's a
pickleball.
workout. You gotta work out.
So tomorrow you'll be back to yesterday.
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be back to
I
denim.
just
And,
want to make sure it lasted more than a day.
yeah, no, it was a good day though. Everybody commented.
Well, it was out of character.
Ireland, when you were gone, I got rid of the ball cap. I'm not wearing a ball cap anymore.
Why?
Because I got great hair. I'm finally going to start.
That's true. You do have
Yeah,
great
I
hair.
have
I'm
great
going to
hair.
own
But-
that thing.
But I'll be surprised if it lasts.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go for it.
All right.
I'm going to go for it. I got great hair. Why not show it off?
I've been telling you that for years.
Yeah.
That's why we're at.
Look, I am barely
I would kill
holding
for
on to
Mason's
what's
hair.
going on. If you're me too, of 100%.
And he fought
100%.
like the one thing that he fought. Well, there's two things Mason fought since we've been together. The first one was he was convinced that if he ever came out, that it would be the end of his career. And when he came out, it was the opposite, right?
Yes, it was
like
totally
people were overly
Very nice.
accommodating.
Everybody was really cool.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the second thing that I fought him on forever was stop dyeing your hair.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, I can't." He goes, "I don't want to look once I look old, that's it." And I said, "I'm telling you, it'll be a good thing, not a bad thing." And sure enough, as soon as you let go, you get more compliments than anything.
I went gay before I went gray.
Yeah, that was in my attack ad. You know, when Mason when the election was up, we each made. See if you can find those.
That's funny. Yeah.
Jorge knows where they are if you can't find them. But we
That's
did,
a great tagline.
We did attack ads, and my attack on Mason was it was so funny.
What a phony!
Unbeknownst to the other one,
yes,
we both called Morales and said, "I need you to do an attack ad on Mason." He had already called and said,
"Oh, it wasn't a scheduled bit. You guys just did it independently."
We just said,
"Oh, that's great.
Come up with an ad about the
funny.
other guy,
yes,
as if you were running against him in an election."
Okay,
and we both called Jorge. Help Taylor find those. We both.
That's awesome.
Oh, they're really funny.
Basically hired Morales to be the hitman because we knew he would love it because Morales loves to stir it up.
Yes, he does.
So my thing was, Steve Mason can't make decisions. Couldn't decide when to come out as gay. Couldn't decide when to go gray. He can't make decisions. And mine was something like, Ireland, poofy hair with a pocket square, can't trust him.
1%er, big mansion, gated community.
Does he share your values?
Oh, yeah.
You would be a does he share our values guy. I don't think that you would.
Yeah.
His values? Hell no.
No. My values are great.
You know, the dog whistle, our values.
Our values.
Right? You know, we all know what it means.
Exactly.
It's like, okay. I didn't know you had gray hair until you stopped dyeing. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
And I always thought you had, and then when you started to transition out of it, I thought you were dyeing your hair blonde.
That's what Steve Edwards
and I'm like,
texted me at one point and said, "What are you dyeing your hair blonde now?"
I thought you were. I'm like, dude, what's
no,
Mason
doing?
That
the color was
that
slowly easing out. Yes,
you looks good. Keep it as is.
Yeah, thanks.
So,
keep it as is.
It's just easier too.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
Just because today's the anniversary of Wilt getting 100. John just had 28 and a quarter the other day. We've seen Clay at 37.
I was there and saw the defense.
You saw. You saw
Dame had 71. Again? That's two guys
ever
with
again
70
with the three-point shot, with the game being very open and offensive the way that it is. We've seen a couple of 70s this year. I know it's a long way from 100. We ever see 100? Because
Michael and I disagree on this.
I think
Michael says no. I say yes.
You think it can happen?
Think about this. When Clay scored 37 in one quarter, he had 61 in the game, and they took him out at the end of the third quarter.
What was the score?
They were by like 30.
Yeah, it was a blowout.
That's the part of it that's hard. It has to be a competitive game to legitimize you going out there and continuing to score.
I saw Kobe one time had 62 at the end of three quarters against the Mavs. The Mavs had 61. Kobe outscored him by himself, but they were up by 25, so they took him out.
No, it would take an incredibly specific set of circumstances because I agree the game would have to be. It's
got to be reasonable.
You'd have to have one guy on a pace to get 100, but the game's still close, which sounds absurd.
Right.
But that's what it would have to be.
We found. I don't know which one it is, but we found one of the
we found
attack
both, it looks
ads.
like.
Did you find
I have
them
both. I'll start with yours.
Okay, here we go. Here is my ad against Steve Mason.
I'm John Ireland, and I approve this message. In these difficult times, our leaders have never been under more pressure to make the right decisions. Steve Mason can't make any decisions. He couldn't decide when to come out as gay. He couldn't decide when to let his hair go gray. Just this week, he canceled his Grubhub order twice in the same night. He can't even decide what to have for dinner. When the pressure is on, do you really want Steve Mason making the important decisions?
Don't ever underestimate my stupidity.
Paid for by the Morning Show Super PAC with John Ireland.
There you
All
go.
right, so that's pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's
very
good.
good.
Very
Now,
funny. Very funny.
The retort is equally as good. Here is Mason's retort. I think. Mason's at against me first.
John Ireland lives in an ivory tower in a gated community in Manhattan Beach. And now he wants to represent LA's working man. With a forehead like Jimmy Neutron and a country club membership, John Ireland has been the play-by-play announcer for the Lakers for 5 miserable seasons. He says it's a coincidence, but ask yourself, is John Ireland the reason the Lakers can't win a championship? Chris Morales calls John Ireland a pain in the ass. He's a terrible golfer, says Hall of Famer James Worthy. Even wife Lisa Ireland says, I'm voting for gay stoner Steve Mason. John Ireland, a risky gamble with an ivory tower big forehead loser with too many pocket squares.
I'm Steve Mason, and I approve this message.
I would say those are equally effective ads.
They are.
I'm voting for Mace.
Got to take down the other guy.
I think I'm
That's
voting
really
for Mace.
good.
Those are both terrific.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Feel free to steal that bit. If
Yeah,
you
it's a
guys
great
do
bit.
I think
ads
we're going to
against
need to
each
do
other,
it. I think we're
feel
going to need
free.
to do
I
it.
love that he can't make a decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
He ordered twice and canceled
It is-
it in the
it's a
same
true
night.
story, by the way.
I
yeah.
got Slee and you got
The
Trav.
the kicker against you, Mace,
Yes.
that is unbelievable, is you calling yourself stupid.
It does really hurt my...
it lands,
really good.
After I
it lands
played it,
hard.
He goes, he thought it was funny, but he goes, I can't believe you used my own words against
That's the
me."
ultimate, gotcha, right? When they take the thing you said and Mason said this on this day. Got
Yes,
it.
yeah.
Well done.
They
That was
haven't
funny.
won a championship in 5 years. That's awesome. That's
Is
awesome.
John Ireland the reason the Lakers can't win
I
a
still would have
championship?
attacked you for your values.
What values? I don't have any values.
That's what we're talking about, right? That whatever
I'm going to
sort-
use that line against him in the next campaign.
you
I
go.
don't have any values.
What values?
What values?
My values are whatever they tell me to say.
Yeah, whatever's good for Ireland is good for the values.
Yes.
Super Crosstalks powered by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger's all about.